celebration. It's a celebration. Celebration. Celebrate good times, come on. USA. Celebrate good times, come on. Celebrate good times, come on. Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate. There's a party going on right here. A celebration to last throughout the years. So bring your good times and your laughter too. We gon' celebrate your party with you. Come on now. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Good time. Good time.
Well, there you go. Celebrating good times. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the following program. I am your host, Joe Neerman, a.k.a. Good Lord Jack. I hope you all had a phenomenal weekend. I don't know how you couldn't. We're celebrating the greatest president's 80th birthday. In pretty much as big time as you can get it. As big time as you can get it on the White House lawn with the Ultimate Fighting Championship. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that a lot. Also, Knicks win. Oh, my God. I never thought I'd be able to say those words. The Knicks ending the season on a win. Taking home the NBA crown. Yeah, I know. Can knock me over with a feather. You all know, I admitted this like last week. I gave up on the NBA. Trust me, I put in a lot more effort there than many of you ever would have thought of putting in. Years and years, decades of rooting for the Knicks until I was like, I can't do this anymore. They beat me. The Knicks beat me. They beat me. So like I sort of felt like that's something that like I'm never gonna see it happen in my lifetime. I'm never gonna see it happen. See, even though I wouldn't call, I don't think it's fair for me to call myself a Knicks fan. You know, for 2025, 2026 season, no way. No. I would laugh at someone who would describe my level of attention to the NBA this year as being a fan of the team. No, I will not say that. But what I will say is that investment of effort, which felt like it will never, ever come to fruition. At a certain point, all the missed finger rolls, the 2 for 17, if Latrell Sprewell is like the best thing you could look at in a generation. Seriously. Oh God. Jeremy Lin. I mean, there was nothing. I couldn't do it anymore. I tapped out for my own sanity. I tapped out. Well, in that sense, so I was like, I'm never going to see it. I don't feel as if I like ever enjoyed it remotely the way I would have if I had still been an NBA fan. No way. But I sort of feel as if, all right, to the extent that investment for a period of my life can ever be put to rest, it's now put to rest. So it's almost like, okay, this is sort of like inner calm. So that's two great things happening the same weekend. Trump's 80th birthday, Knicks winning a championship. Oh, and also peace in the Middle East. Is that true? Do we have peace in the Middle East? Do we have a deal? Is this actually a deal? So I want to talk to you about that too. We're going to be talking about the UFC. We're going to be on the White House lawn. We're going to be talking about the Iran peace deal. Is it really peace? If it is peace, Did we accomplish anything here? Was this is this really a win? Is it not a win? How is this? Is this better, worse, or the same as the Obama deal? So, and what kind of impact can we expect this to have on elections coming up? Whatever. Also, what does this do with the woke right? We keep talking about the woke right all the time. The woke right. Where are they at now? So there's a lot of things to look at with respect to the whole talk about the Iran deal, even just fleshing out its terms, because it's still pretty amorphous. It's pretty amorphous. So we're going to definitely cover that. Plus, we also have Obama stiffing it to the black man yet again, in case black community felt as if they haven't been sufficiently abused by President Barack Obama. No. More black people found a way to get stiffed over by Barack Obama. 10 years after he's out of office, he should be considered the scourge of the black community. It's unbelievable that there are many black people who still consider him as some sort of messianic figure, because, oh my God, everything he's done for the black community has just made them worse and worse. Now he's harming some of them more directly. So we're definitely going to talk about that. All that and more. Plus, tonight we have a goal. The goal is, if we get 15 super chats, Rumble Rants, Shekel Skullim from the lounge, from the diggers, from the locals place, PayPal, Venmo, whatever. Quantities of $10 or more. We get 15 of those. I will go into hour 3, and in hour 3, I'm gonna have call-in. I'm also gonna be doing some manifesto work, because I feel as if it's been a minute since I manifestoed, and I worry that if I put that project aside, it's never gonna get done. So we'll do that nice little portion of that if we hit hour 3 tonight. Sometimes we hit the goal, sometimes we don't. Whatever it is, that's fine. But settle in there, grab popcorn. If you're like one of those late night people, and for you it's late night, tuck up in bed. My tone will probably drop a little bit. In the intro, we come in hot, but probably soothe down in to soften you up, so you can actually, catch some shut eye. All that and more, so make sure you stick around. And if you're watching afterwards, if you can hit the like button and just drop a little comment. Comments are really good. I don't push that enough. I don't push the commenting enough. Definitely need more comments. Definitely. Because otherwise I feel like I'm talking to myself. Every once in a while, I just start typing out a comment to myself. And I'm just like, that's stupid. I can just journal that. Why am I writing this before the world? That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so I hope you all had a phenomenal weekend. Mine was actually pretty amazing, as I had a family event this weekend, which was a beautiful, beautiful thing. I got to spend the weekend there with my wife and daughter down by my brother-in-law's house and her whole family. It was really wonderful, in case you want to know about that. But what we really want to talk about, I'm going to start off here, is I want to talk about the Iran deal. The Iran deal. What exactly is the Iran deal? What are we getting? Trump announced that we're signing a peace deal. We're signing a deal. In fact, JD Vance has said that they signed the deal. The deal is done. The deal is signed. That's what he says. And we knew this deal was coming, but we still don't know exactly what the terms are. So it sort of includes, I guess, a little bit of this. Iran agrees not to build a nuke. This was what we were hearing yesterday. Iran agrees not to build a nuke. Will reopen the Strait of Hormuz, and U.S. to release $25 billion in assets in the Trump peace deal. All right. Iran has agreed not to build a nuclear weapon and to reopen the Strait of Hormuz if the U.S. releases $25 billion in frozen assets as part of President Trump's brokered peace plan, according to details released by Tehran on Sunday. Now, a lot of times when we've been hearing about these different deals, it sounds as if what Tehran is saying is happening is very different than what America is saying is happening. Now, often when I'm dealing with the different agents in the Middle East, I'm like, who cares? They're a bunch of liars. Who cares what they're saying? But the reality is, you need them to sign on a deal ultimately. Everyone's going to always frame it in a way that makes them look like the winners. right? Whether it's America framing it to her people, Iranians framing it to their people, they're all framing it as if we're the big winners here. We triumphed. That's what's going to happen unless you have ultimate conquest. So you know that everyone's been framing it as if we won. So they're saying they're getting $25 billion in frozen assets as part of his broker peace deal. All right, where's this money coming from? Washington and Tehran were expected to electronically sign a memorandum of understanding Sunday after a virtual meeting designed to set the table for negotiations over a longer-term deal on Iran's nuclear program. Trump said the deal was expected to go through despite Israeli strikes in Lebanon, with the president holding a blunt call with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Tehran to smooth things out. Iranian officials were cautiously optimistic that a deal to finally halt the conflict was on the horizon. The war has raged for 3.5 months, throwing world markets into chaos. On Saturday, Trump and Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said a deal would be signed Sunday and would immediately result in the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, the crucial choke point, which is what's driving up your gas prices. So, okay, that all sounds well and good. We're closer to peace deal than ever before, Sharif said on social media. With finalization likely expected in the next 24 hours, this is what we were hearing yesterday. An Iranian foreign minister rep said the deal could happen in the next few days. The pact, which would see $25 billion in Iranian assets unfrozen by the U.S., does not solve all of the issues between Tehran and Washington, but offers a 60-day framework for technical discussions on the rest, according to officials from Pakistan. Now, the $25 billion sounds like an insane amount of money. It sounds like an insane amount of money. But we need to sort of think, and I guess for analysis, we can compare and contrast to the JCPOA deal that Obama signed with Iran. And we're going to definitely do a little bit of a comparison between these two deals and what we had and what we had then and what we're purportedly getting now. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Mike Waltz said Sunday that the deal would see Iran give up nearly 1,000-pound supply of highly enriched uranium, as well as their status as backers of terrorist proxies in the region. Now, this is a big deal. This is a big deal because one of the things that we definitely were looking to do, this was a massive sticking point that we heard about over and over again, is what is happening to their uranium. It's one thing for them to be promising and telling us that they're not going to be enriching uranium and building nukes. But then why do they still have their nukes? You know, why are they not giving up their nuclear material? So this, to me, is something that people have not really been talking about a lot, but I think that this is a very important element as to what happens to the nuclear material. Now, they say, when Trump has been referring to it as nuclear dust, and they're talking about the nukes that basically were at the bottom of the bunker busted facilities that were busted last summer. Part of the deal, we would also end our blockade of the Iranian-linked ships coming out of the Strait. And the idea is that ocean traffic can return to normal as soon as possible through the Strait of Hormuz. Shipping traffic through the busy narrow sea passage has slowed to a trickle. The tentative pact goes on. So first and foremost, it's not a final deal. We don't have a final deal yet. Tentative pact goes on to state that the U.S. and UN would lift sanctions on Iran and agree not to impose any new ones until a final deal, according to Tehran. A 60-day ceasefire would also reportedly pave the way for Washington to coordinate a reconstruction and development plan for Iran. This sentence here should scare the bejesus out of you. It really should. Why? Why? No. Why is Washington coordinating a reconstruction and development plan for Iran? You see, this I don't like. I don't want. It's not like, oh, okay, you're a pain in the neck, so we're going to bomb you, and then you and me got to pay to fix up their freaking infrastructure. I don't like this. I don't. This is not good. Why? Why is this on us? When nations get bombed, they have to rebuild themselves. And if you're getting money back, I certainly don't want to be financing it. And if we're involved, I don't know. Somehow to me, when it says we're involved, it sounds as if there's financing coming from us. And I'll tell you why. It's because, it's not like France is getting involved, right? It's not, you don't hear the Republic of Chad getting involved. Why? Because they're not paying for it. It's like, when you go somewhere, it's almost like when you go on vacation, the person who's paying for it ends up deciding, like, where are we gonna do? How are we gonna spend our time? Where are we gonna sleep? Usually that's the person who's footing the bill at the end of the day, is the one who's involved in the whole strategy as to how things are going forward. So when I see a sentence like this saying Washington coordinating a reconstruction development plan, I don't like this. We have a very long and rich history of doing the stupid thing of rebuilding every nation that we conquer, and I don't like the idea that we're going to be rebuilding Iran. No, not at all. That's something I would really have a problem with. Now, again, it's still very early. We don't really know the terms here, and there's been a little bit of diciness and very mixed messages as to where the money's coming from and how much money. By the way, this is not anything new. We saw the same thing even with Iran. If I asked you right now, with the Obama administration, if I asked you right now, how much money did Obama give Iran when he signed his stupid 5-year deal? Yes, so on the left, they'll be like, oh, it was $1 billion. $1.97 billion, sometimes they'll say. Then you look around, you see it was $100 billion. And you're like, or maybe as much as 150. And you're like, these are not the same conversations. These are not, how is this, what is happening here? I mean, $1 billion is a ridiculous amount of money. $2 billion is a ridiculous amount of money. But, yeah, that's not nearly the same thing as $100 billion. So what the heck is happening here? Well, what they basically say is, no. So we're not giving them money, but we had restrained money, and now we're releasing the restraint on that money. So we're giving them $2 billion, plus we're releasing a restraint on $50 million out of the gate. This is what we did with, this is not what's happening now. This is what happened back in, 2013 when we first signed the JCPOA under Obama. So he said, and we'll release $50 billion that had been restrained, with more monies to be released in the future. And there was monies released immediately. Now, I don't know what this means. This is a very weird thing, because what happens is Washington plays games with assets that you and I have no knowledge that they actually have. Meaning, I'm like, what does that mean? They're holding $100 billion. Why are they holding $100 billion? Like, what's the genesis of Washington possessing that? On what basis were they seizing? Were they seizing as a legal right? Were they seizing as a matter of conquest? Were they threatening some country like Switzerland, saying, hey, turn over their money, or some other country out there saying turn over their money? Were they was the money in American banks? Like, where is the money being held that they're seizing, and on what basis are they seizing? And then later they're releasing it. But it seems as if that DC does this all the time. They seize, we hear about seized Iranian assets, which we never knew any assets were seized. And the next thing you know, it's like, no, we're just going to release the monies that we seized. And I'm just like, well, look, if we took it as of right, well, in that case, it makes sense that we shouldn't, then why are we just giving it back up? And if we didn't take it as of right, well, what's to stop us from seizing it right back? Like, I don't understand anything that's happening with the whole seizure of money that was suddenly being released. This happened under Obama, and it seems as if there's talk about this happening yet again now, and perhaps quantities that may be greater. And then there's other talks that the money may be coming from other parties. So I'm going to try and help you walk through that a little bit better, while still admitting to you that at the end of the day, we have not seen, nobody has seen, outside of, the hallowed halls of the White House or whatever rooms that they're having these negotiations. It seems as if no one has seen this deal yet. We're supposed to see it sometime this week, maybe within the next 48 hours, but we don't know the exact terms of this deal yet. All we have is this memo of understanding. Now, and the devil is obviously in the details, and how these details play out is very, very critical as far as how we are able to assess whether or not this was a success. This is assuming that the peace doesn't blow up the way so many of these talks seem to fall apart later on. Now we have a written memo of understanding. I will not say, and I want to be clear here, I do not want, even though I called this, an autopsy report, I do not want to go on record and saying, oh yeah, this whole conflict is definitely over. I'm not going on record as saying that, because we've seen this football get yanked away before it gets kicked way too many times for me to say, I don't care if there's a memo of understanding. I know that this can fall apart. But assuming that this does actually manage to hold this time, we are closer towards actually having peace than we have seen since Khomeini's been killed. This is far and away the closest we've been toward peace with Iran since that day and time 3.5 months ago. So I think that it's fair to assess, assuming this deal goes forward as it's been discussed, is this a win or is this not a win? Like, how big a win is it, or is this really an ultimate fail that we're just trying to make look like a win? And I think that's an important thing for us to try to understand. All righty, let's light this candle. Thank you, Nathan. Good idea. JH, Joe, I know you were at the UFC fights last night in DC. That was the only thing that would keep you from doing a Sunday night show. Or maybe you just don't love me anymore. No. It was part of the whole. It was, I didn't even talk about doing a show this weekend last week, because I knew, I was like, I got this whole family wedding thing. My niece got married last week, and then she, her family was hosting a party, a post-wedding party on Shabbos, and then my mother-in-law and was hosting one last night. So I was like, I knew that this weekend was going to be shot, but I'll try to come back more. You obviously didn't hear JD's explanation. It won't be our money at all. Cool the Jets and look for JD's videos on Sunday shows. They don't get 1 cent of taxpayer money. It will be the Middle East money. Kimmy, do you think I didn't do homework? You wound me. You wound me. I've done homework. You think I need to start like looking at this stuff? No, I got all this stuff. I got all this stuff on Vance. Don't worry. I'm on top of it. Listen. Sugar, relax. I'm on top of it. We've been getting very different messages from JD Vance. And then he tried correcting himself and clearing himself. And I'm going to go through all of it. Okay? We're going through all of it. I'm not going to leave you hanging. All right. In fact, I'll even go in order as to how they were posted today, so you can see how this is. This is how I was getting different levels of news just this morning. Okay, here. This is what I'm getting at 8:30 this morning as we're trying to find out the deal. Justin, Iran did not get what they wanted in President Trump's. I guess it's supposed to be a strong on Iran deal. The U.S. is not leaving the region. Iran is getting $0 in unfrozen assets unless they comply. And this is what we heard, that they don't get the money right away. And that is an important thing. We're not paying you until certain objectives are met. Strait of Hormuz is set to open fully on Friday, although frankly, what we're going to see is it's not going to be opening with the same levels of traffic it had beforehand. It's because it's going to take them a while to demine everything. They want U.S. forces to leave the Middle East and abandon all bases. That's not going to happen. Even if there's a drawdown in the military, there will still be thousands of forces prepared. I've heard this too. And there's economic leverage. They won't get sanctions relief they want and need if the U.S. doesn't get everything they want. All right, that's according to Trey Yingst, who's been reporting on this very, very well the last couple of months. He's been doing a great job.
Nearly derailed. The Israelis targeted Hezbollah with strikes in the Lebanese capital of Beirut.
Meanwhile, Israel is still striking Lebanon. And we're going to see that Israel doesn't feel, this deal has nothing to do with us. It's between Iran and America. It doesn't solve things between us and Iran or Lebanon.
Iranian officials immediately vowed to respond with missile fire toward Israel. A diplomat with knowledge of the situation told Fox News that Qatari mediators stayed in Tehran conducting intensive negotiations coordinated with the United States. Vice President Vance described to Fox News what those final moments were like before the agreement was reached. Could you take us behind the scenes of what that moment was like leading up to this deal actually being signed?
After the Israelis struck Beirut, we were very worried, and we saw a lot of evidence that the Iranians were going to launch a large number of missiles at the Israelis. With our communication with them over the course of getting to this signed peace deal, they assured us that they were not going to respond to the Israelis, and they were going to sign this agreement and get to peace. Now, of course, you always have to verify these things, Trey, and we know that there are a lot of people in the Middle East who do not want to make this deal happen.
I spoke with President.
And that's an interesting comment. There's a lot of people that don't want this to happen. I don't know if he means nations or he means individuals within nations. Does he mean the state of Israel? Does he mean officials within Israel? Does he mean certain Iranian officials? I wish that we would have gotten a little more clarity on that.
Trump before the agreement was reached, and he was optimistic about what this deal means for the region. We also know the president got directly involved in ensuring that the Iranians didn't launch missiles at Israel before the agreement was finalized. Guys?
So what do you think the vice president was referring to? Is there people in the Middle East that don't want this agreement? Who doesn't want this agreement in the Middle East? Is that a veiled shot at Israel?
Certainly, there are many Israeli officials who are not happy with the deal. When you talk privately,
I'm sure there are. I'm sure. Look, there are certain Israeli officials who I'm sure would be happy to have this thing going on and on. That's probably true.
With intelligence officials here in Israel, they indicate they do want an agreement, but they want the right agreement. And the Trump administration has tried to tell the Israelis, look, this is ultimately going to ensure that the Iranians never have a path to a nuclear weapon. And again, what are we looking at here when we step back? We're looking at an agreement that is going to, on Friday, immediately open the Strait of Hormuz. And it's going to also enter into a 60-day detailed negotiating period to address these nuclear issues with the Iranian regime. They are committing to not having a nuclear weapon, but ultimately the International Atomic Energy Agency and others are going to be part of the interworking here in Iran on the ground to ensure that this highly enriched material is removed. And when I spoke with the president yesterday, he talked about how difficult it's going to be to get what he refers to as the nuclear dust that is currently buried deep underground. He says the Iranians told the United States only the U.S. and China actually have the equipment and ability to do so. But when we look at this agreement...
So that's an interesting comment, which you would imagine it's a unique challenge trying to figure out how to extricate enriched uranium in a safe way that you're actually pulling it all out without, exposing people to radiation and actually getting it all from a place that's been bombed out and is thousands of feet into a mountain. So are they going to allow America to come in there and basically collect the uranium? Is that what's going to happen? Assuming they're claiming that it's still buried under there, which it may be. So are they going to allow us in there to just go collect that uranium? A little mining expedition under a bombed out bunker? I don't know. I don't know what that means. They're saying no one can do it but the United States or Russia or China. United States or China.
What he refers to as the nuclear dust that is currently buried deep underground. He says the Iranians told the United States only the U.S. and China actually have the equipment and ability to do so. But when we look at this agreement, the Iranians didn't get what they wanted. They wanted U.S. forces to leave the Middle East completely and abandon all bases in the region. And that's not going to happen as part of this deal. We know that U.S. forces are going to remain at the 5th Fleet location in Bahrain for the U.S. Navy. Also, the Al Udeid base outside of the Qatari capital of Doha. There are thousands of U.S. forces there. And so even if there is an eventual drawdown of the U.S. military in the Middle East, there will still be thousands of forces here prepared if the president has to use military action in the future. But remember, as part of this deal, there is this economic leverage on the Iranian regime. They're not going to get the sanctions relief that they so desperately want and need if the United States doesn't get everything they want out of these detailed negotiations. And so they're going to have to keep the Strait of Hormuz open and move forward with the commitments that they made at the negotiating table as it relates to their nuclear program. Guys,
so that's an interesting statement, and that does seem as if, like, look, if we're actually removing their uranium and we're getting their uranium, that's certainly a serious step towards ensuring that they're not building nukes. Frankly, from everything we've heard about the justification for this conflict, part of the justification was that they were building ballistic weapons in order to insulate themselves from attack in the event they wanted to build a nuclear weapon, to make it very painful for anyone who's trying to stop them from building nuclear weapons. So the levels of ballistic arsenal that they're allowed to maintain is also something that you would think would be an important element here. Otherwise, they can just, start all over again, right? And we tend to distrust the whole monitoring. There's always concerns that, like, whatever monitoring you can do, that there's going to be hidden stuff. But that's what we were hearing this morning. I got more updates since then, though, so stick around for a second. Joe, when Washington says they'll coordinate a reconstruction plan, that means they'll bring in private contractors from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, et cetera, to go in and rebuild, plus they'll funnel money to the CIA. Yeah, it's the second part of that really bothers me, brother. It's the second part of that. What does that mean? We're funding from the CIA, or we're funneling money from the CIA to them? I don't think the CIA is getting money. It doesn't seem like the CIA is a good money-making venture for us. Now, it might be, some might say it's necessary. Now, J.D. Vance, as Kimmy pointed out, was clarifying that no, the money's not coming from us. It's not coming from us. That's what we're hearing. Okay. Let's see what they're saying. Let's hear more on this. This is a report. First report I shared with you was like at 8:30 this morning. Next report I saw was at 9:40 this morning. Here's J.D. Vance talking about this deal. Obviously, J.D. Vance, one of the negotiators of this deal, is playing a key role here. So let's hear from him.
We see oil prices from a high of $126 a barrel down to about $80 a barrel today. That's a lot of progress. But it also, Gail, fundamentally extends a hand to Iran and says, look, if you guys are willing to honor your obligations, if you're willing to allow real inspections of your nuclear program, then we will welcome you back into the world economy. I think what the president of the United States wants to do is turn over a leaf of 47 years of a failed relationship between the United States and Iran, but that requires the Iranians to actually honor their end of the bargain. So when people say that billions of dollars of assets will be released, that's not true. What is true is that Iran will have a much better and much more prosperous future if they meet the obligations they make in this agreement. We'll, of course, see. That's one of the things we're going to work out in the technical talks that will follow the official signing on Friday.
Mr. Vice President, it's Ed O'Keefe, and we're so glad you're here in part because, as Republican Senator Lindsey Graham said yesterday, you are the architect of this deal. So let's walk through some of this. The Iranians are saying that they're going to have access to a $300 billion reconstruction fund. True or false?
Well, and that's the sort of thing they could have access to, funded by the Gulf Coast Coalition, so long as they honor their end of the obligation. I think.
So the Gulf Coast Coalition, which I don't know if that sounds like Qatar and Saudi Arabia. And frankly, if Iran is getting tons of money and it's not coming from us, I don't care. I don't care. As long as it's not us, I don't care. You want to stuff them full of money, and it's not USA that's funding it, telling me that they're getting their money from Saudi Arabia, they're getting their money from Qatar. I don't care if it's Israel. I don't care. Whoever it is that's kicking in, as long as it's not America that's kicking in, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But he is, and I definitely took note of this. In fact, I even was mocking Owen Schroyer, because Owen Schroyer said Israel should pay it. And I'm like, dude, I wholeheartedly agree. I don't want America to pay. I don't know why you would say Israel has to pay. Why does it have to be Israel? You care if it's Israel, if it's Qatar? What does that affect you? Why would you even, why would, I just want it to be not America pay. I'm tired of the fact that we're the ones who are always footing the bill. Every time we have to foot the bill. No. We're not footing this bill. We're not footing this one. So, if I have any influence here, and you know how much influence I have in DC. So if I have any influence, I'll tell you right now, we're not footing this bill. You tell me it's the Gulf states? Okay, great. I still am wondering where this fund is coming from. Is it frozen assets? What is it? Where is it coming from? Is it money literally being kicked in by Qatar and Saudi Arabia? It's possible. You say Gulf states, that's what people think. UAE, I don't know.
One of the things you're going to see, Ed, and people have to be skeptical of this, is that the hardliners in the Iranian system will overemphasize the benefits that Iran gets while underemphasizing all the things that they have to concede and all the things they have to provide in order to get these benefits. So we absolutely are open to the Gulf Coast countries investing in the reconstruction of Iran, but only if Iran ends their nuclear program, ends their enriched stockpile of material, and is really open to an inspections and enforcement regime that gives the American people confidence they're never going to have a nuclear weapon. So I think the dance you're going to see, Ed, which is going to be interesting, is the Iranian media, especially the hardline media, they're going to talk a lot about what they get without talking about what they give. It's important for all of us to correct that record.
Well,
and I think he's telling the truth there with what he said. I think he's telling the truth. I'm cautious. And he asked me, I trust JD Vance about 90%, which is a lot more than virtually anyone else in DC. About 90%. It feels as if there's a little bit of dancing here. Which is why in this particular issue, I'm like, I hope he's telling us the material truth here. I don't know. My vibe is I feel as if he's dancing a little bit here. So just saying Gulf states, he could have said, look, part of this whole deal is that Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia, list off the states, are going to be creating a fund, and they will not have access to the fund unless Iran reaches certain yardsticks. Those yardsticks include that we get the uranium out there, that the Strait of Hormuz is left open. He could have articulated it far more finely. Now, it's possible that still is not yet finalized. It's possible. If he's able to come out and tell me that explicitly, I trust him. And I'll be like, okay, fine. But he's not saying that explicitly. He's pushing off the notion that America's paying for it and saying it's going to be Gulf states. But he didn't definitively say America's giving no money. Yeah, and if we listen to this again, I don't think he said...
The Iranians are saying that they're going to have access to a $300 billion reconstruction
He said the Gulf states are funding it.
Fund. True or false?
Well, Ed, that's the sort of thing they could have access to, funded by the Gulf Coast Coalition, so long as they...
And I don't know who's in this coalition. Because I don't know if, theoretically, since they've been fighting side by side with us, are we part of the coalition? The term Gulf Coast Coalition, what does that even mean? Well, you know what? We'll get Grok's opinion as to who's included in the Gulf Coast. Who's included in that? JD Vance says that the funding is going to come from the Gulf Coast Coalition. Who is included? Oh, we got to do this. JD Vance says that the $300 billion that Iran may have access to is going to be funded by the Gulf Coast Coalition. Who is included in the Gulf Coast Coalition?
It's likely a slip of the tongue for the Gulf Cooperation Council, or GCC. That's the main group of Arab Gulf states: Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, and Oman. Vance was talking about those countries potentially investing in Iran's reconstruction if Tehran meets the deal's terms on its nuclear program. Some reports mention UAE, Qatar, and Bahrain specifically as examples. No actual group called the Gulf Coast Coalition exists in this context. It's almost certainly just Vance mixing up Gulf Coast with Gulf Cooperation Council.
I think that might be a little speculative. I hope that Grok is right on that. I hope so. So no one's ever made reference to, let's say, the fighting forces in Iran being the Gulf Coast Coalition?
No, there's no reference to any Gulf Coast Coalition as fighting forces in Iran or anywhere else. The only mentions of the term are people quoting or reacting to Vance's verbal slip in that interview. It's clearly meant to be the Gulf Cooperation Council, the group of Arab Gulf states funding potential reconstruction, not any military unit.
Oh, that's heartwarming. Good. Okay, fine. That makes me happy. Very happy. All right. So, then later today, Vance said U.S. signed the Iran deal Sunday, hopes to release the text this week. Vice President Vance said Monday the U.S. had signed the preliminary agreement with Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz, and that the text of the deal would be released this week. Quote, we'll be releasing text this week, and what everybody will see is that Iran doesn't get a dime unless they perform their obligations. And the money that we're talking about is fundamentally sanctions relief, Vance said. That's what we just heard in this interview. The Trump administration announced on Sunday that a preliminary deal with Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz had been reached. Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, who has mediated talks between Washington and Tehran, wrote Sunday on social platform X that an official signing ceremony will take place on Friday in Switzerland. Trump had previously said Vance could represent the U.S. in Switzerland. The vice president spent Monday making the rounds on morning news shows in the U.S., pledging that under the deal, not a single dollar of U.S. money will go to Iran. Well, that would make it very, very different from the JCPOA. But that Washington is willing to give significant sanctions relief if Iran makes long-term commitments, including giving up the nuclear weapons program and halting their funding of terror activities in the Middle East. While a number of key details in the preliminary deal have yet to be released, the agreement has already been met with criticism from Democrats and wariness from Trump allies. Senator Lindsey Graham said Sunday on X he's somewhat concerned that Iran's view of the agreement seems different than what the American negotiating team is claiming. Vance responded, caution the Republican senator not to believe their propaganda. I'd caution him and anyone else to not believe their hardliner propaganda in Iran, but to believe what's actually in the agreement. Vance also noted that a fundamental difference between the preliminary deal between the Trump administration and Iran and the Obama-era deal is that the U.S. allies love the current deal. They feel it's going to create a totally new dynamic in the Middle East, he said. That's a great testament to what the president and the entire team has accomplished. And look, that's what we're all hoping for. That's what we're all hoping for. We're certainly not looking to bomb them into oblivion. So, you know, I'd be happy to see a healthy coexisting Iran, you know, working together and actually, you know, doing business like Saudi Arabia does. That'd be fine. And then they reported that Iran's pact was signed. Hormuz traffic will rise significantly. But it's not going to just jump up immediately to levels we had before. The United States and Iran have signed a memorandum of understanding to end the near 4-month war, senior U.S. officials said on Monday, adding that a formal signing ceremony will take place on Friday. And we got this already. The MOU will provide a structure for how the U.S.-Iran relationship will operate in the future. So the official, speaking of condition of anonymity in a briefing with reporters, emphasizing that any benefits to Iran, such as sanctions, relief, and release of Tehran's frozen funds, would only come based on their willingness to work with Washington on their nuclear program and not fund what U.S. officials described as radicalism in the region. So part of it is that you're not funding, you're not using the money to basically have Hamas and Hezbollah just blowing everything up. We are prepared to release frozen funds. We're prepared to relieve sanctions, and we'll do some small gesture of that in the beginning if they make some small gestures to us that show that they're willing to meet their commitments as well. He added that the MOU would be made public within 24 to 48 hours. I knew I'd seen that it was going to be within the next day or two. That's not the actual terms of the deal. In the short term, the MOU will allow the immediate reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, a major shipping route for global oil and gas supplies that Iran has effectively shut for months. But one U.S. official cautioned that it would take a while for traffic to return to normal. Quote, you will see significant increase in traffic in the Strait of Hormuz actually starting already, and that will ramp up slowly over time, the official said. We probably won't return to normal in 2 weeks, but we'll see a significant increase in trade traffic, the official said. Israel's withdrawal from Lebanon is not a condition of the pact between the United States and Iran, said senior U.S. official on Monday, adding Israel will have the right to defend itself against any attacks by Hezbollah. So Israel, and we're going to see in a moment that Israel is disclaiming that they have any relationship with this deal. It's like, all right, America wants to, call peace. That's on them. But we have, we're going to do what Israel's saying that they're going to do what they feel they need to do. Hey, Segan Rose. How you doing? Thanks for stopping. Appreciate the little tap there. That's very thoughtful of you. And let's hear a little bit more about Israel's perspective. It was reported by ANI. Quote, Trump's agreement does not bind us. We are not partners to Israeli Minister Ben-Gvir put spokes in U.S.-Iran peace deal. Tel Aviv. In a sharp rebuke of diplomatic efforts brokered by Washington, Israel's National Security Prime Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir declared that the country is not bound by external diplomatic understandings and maintained its absolute state sovereignty. The far-right minister made it clear that American-led initiatives does not dictate domestic or military policy, basically saying, it's nice for America to do whatever they want, but we're going to make our decisions to what we're going to do. Emphasizing Israel's geopolitical independence following U.S. President Donald Trump's announcement of a completed deal with Iran. Quote, Trump's agreement does not bind us. Israel is not subject to the United States, and we are an independent and sovereign nation. Our duty is the citizens of Israel, to the soldiers of the IDF, and to the Jewish people, and our historical duty to the persecuted and murdered Jews over thousands of years. What? Okay. Our historical duty to the persecuted and murdered Jews over thousands of years of exile to provide security to Jews in the land of Israel. Okay. Quote, every time we succumb to international pressure, and the reason Israel is taking this stance, he's about to walk you through here, is because this is not the first rodeo for Israel. They've dealt with wars in the Middle East before, many a time. They've dealt with peace deals and negotiated peace deals when they've been forced into it. And their position right now is it's very nice that America wants to back out or call it quits, and that's fine for them. But Israel's saying it's not fine from our perspective, and we're not going to. We'll call it quits when we feel we're good and ready to do that. And that's fine as long as America doesn't have to back you up. That's fine. As long as you don't want American troops in there, you want to go do that. As long as we're not financing it for you, that's fine. Every time we succumb to international pressure at the expense of Israel's security, we pay a blood price with interest. It was true in the Oslo Accords. It was true in the Lebanon Agreement in 2006. It was true in every period of containment in Gaza that exploded in our faces. We emphasize, we love the USA, and we're grateful to President Trump, and yet the state of Israel is not a banana republic. I say these things to the Prime Minister all the time and repeat them in closed rooms at every important historical juncture, he added. The Israeli minister took a strident position claiming that every drone or missile directed at Israel from Lebanon would be met with an Israeli strike. Quote, in historical moments, a historical decision must be made. My position is clear. We are not partners to this agreement that does not ensure our security and does not bind us in any way. We must not compromise on anything less than the dismantling of Hezbollah. We must not withdraw from any territory that our fighters have captured and clear of terror infrastructure. infrastructure. We must not return to a situation where thousands of terrorists sit on the fences of northern settlements, and certainly we must not remain silent for a moment in the face of fire directed at the state of Israel. We must make it clear: every launch of a drone, UAV, or missile toward Israel from Lebanon will lead to an Israeli strike in Tahrir. That was the deterrence balance just a few months ago, and we must not give it up in any way. And above all, we must make it clear to everyone: the people of Israel is a people of 3,000 years, the eternal people that does not fear a long road. We have faith in the creator of the universe. We are a strong and proud people that return to its homeland, strong and proud, and does not intend to lower its gaze before enemies anymore. The days are over when the Jew took blows and kept silent, he said. Echoing this severe domestic opposition, former Israeli defense minister and prominent opposition figure Benny Gantz issued a stern warning against any diplomatic arrangements that would curtail Israel's military leverage, labeling the current international diplomatic track a massive misstep. I don't know why it's nice. Maybe it's a misstep for you. I don't know. It's a misstep for America. In a statement posted on the social media platform X, Gantz targeted the ongoing regional security negotiations, asserting, quote, "Under no circumstances is it possible to agree to restrict Israel's freedom of action in Lebanon or to withdraw that endangers the residents of the North. The emerging agreement with Iran appears to be a strategic failure that will require Israel to engage in diplomatic, military, and legal struggles in the coming years, which only a broad Zionist government can lead." So that sounds as if he's like, we need more power because we don't trust this whole situation here. That's how it reads. That's reality. This intense political blowback from Jerusalem comes immediately after U.S. President Donald Trump announced the finalization of a diplomatic agreement with Iran, declaring the lifting of American naval blockade and the immediate reopening of vital maritime trade routes. The development unfolded just hours ahead of a scheduled UFC event at the White House, which was organized to mark the U.S. president's 80th birthday. The announcement came through an official social media post in which Trump declared that the deal with the Islamic Republic of Iran is now complete. In a detailed post on his platform, True Social, the U.S. president confirmed the cessation of the maritime restrictions. Quote, "The deal with the Islamic Republic of Iran is now complete. Congratulations to all. I hereby fully authorize the toll-free opening of the Strait of Hormuz and simultaneously herewith authorize the immediate removal of the United States naval blockade. Ships of the world, start your engines. Let the oil flow. President Donald J. Trump." Trump wrote, cheering the anticipated revival of the global shipping and energy exports by adding, "Ships of the world, start your engines, let the oil flow." Moments before the official declaration from D.C., Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif announced the development, claiming that an agreement between the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran has been reached. So, it seems as if perhaps, J.D. Vance may have done an effective job of saying, look, Iran, we'll stop punching you. You stop punching us. And you stop, and basically if Israel and Lebanon want to fight it out, let them fight it out. And don't get your panties all twisted over it. That's what it seems like. Israel seems to be concerned that if you're giving money to Iran, eventually that's going to be funneled towards terror, which is why, against them, which is why they're saying this is a terrible mistake. And they're saying that's what our history has told us, and that's why we have concerns about that. But that's not something that can go into the calculus that America has to really fixate on. That's frankly Israel's struggle. That's not America's struggle. So they may be right, they may be wrong. It could be, I don't know. I'm not there. I'm not sitting there in the war room to be able to tell you that. But now at least we understand where they're coming from, and they're basically saying, okay, America, you want to go strike a deal? We think it's a big mistake, but it's not binding on us. And it seems as if as long as Iran can distinguish between America and Israel, which they seem to sometimes get us very much confused, but if they can distinguish between us and Israel, well, in that case, and say that they're, if Israel's attacking, that they're not going to basically be using that as a basis to kibosh the deal. I guess that could work. Although one thing that we need to basically make clear is that no matter what Israel does, we don't want them to respond by closing the Strait of Hormuz, because that's something that they've shown a willingness to do, which is a way of trying to punish us more than it's punishing Israel. So, yeah. I got more for you on this lack of withdrawal. I want to cover a little bit more about Israel's take on this whole thing, because it seems as if this could be a threat to the development of a peace plan with Iran. Defense Minister says Israel won't withdraw from land seized in Lebanon, Syria, and Gaza. Israel's defense minister said that they're not withdrawing. Israel Katz's remarks were the first official Israeli comments after the announcement of the deal. Katz said Israel plans to stay indefinitely in lands it holds in Lebanon, as well as Syria and the Gaza Strip. Iran has tied the interim deal over the war to halting Israel's attacks on Hezbollah in Lebanon. Iran has tied the interim deal over the war to halting Israel's attacks on Hezbollah in Lebanon. Katz also threatened that if Iran attacks Israel over Israeli strikes in Lebanon, Israel will strike Iran with great force. Over the past 2.5 years, Israel has taken control of areas in Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, amounting to 1,000 square kilometers, 386 square miles of territory, an area that's slightly smaller than New York City. So they are saying they're not just giving that up so fast. We should talk about the impact on the oil prices, because the one reason that this war has been so detrimental to Trump politically is because the impact it's having domestically on our gas prices. Which this gives me an opportunity to launch into my thoughts about the gas prices and a little bit of a brief interlude I had with someone who ended up basically yelling at me, where I was disagreeing with his position on this. Let me just cover this real quick. JH saying, Joe, I also believe big part of this is that the rest of the Gulf states must sign on the Abraham Accords. Plus, it's a big cover-up to keep Michelle Obama, who's a man, out of the news. We're going to go there. Oh, I'm totally going there. I am totally going there. You're saying I missed my $1. You sent me a video. You did mention that to me. I pulled it up. I didn't talk about it. I pulled it up, but didn't talk about it. This is what Kimmy showed me. Thank you, Kimmy.
What really bothers me and frustrates me and is unexpected when the American media literally picks up talking points and propaganda from the RAGC that has no support in the text of the agreement that we've actually negotiated and no basis in reality. This is good for the American people. The Iranians don't get a dime unless they behave and change their behavior. And this means that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Sean,
You say they don't get a dime. Do they ever get an American dime, a taxpayer dollar?
No. So number one, first of all, they never get a dime of American taxpayer money, ever. Full stop. Not even close. Okay. What we have said is there's a lot of economic benefit in the United States relieving a lot of sanctions and welcoming them back into the world economy. There's a lot of benefit there. Not American money, but there's a lot of economic prosperity that can flow from that. What the president said to them is, we want you to be a successful country. But for you to be a successful country, you've got to give up on this threat. You've got to give up on this desire to have a nuclear weapon. And if you do that, the United States is willing to have a much better relationship.
All right. Look, I keep talking about the power of the American consumer as being an incentive. The problem that we've seen with the IRGC is that they're much less motivated by money than they are by faith. So if they're still motivated by faith, money is not going to be much of an incentive for them. if in fact the powers that be now have sufficiently changed that money is a motivating factor, that could work. It definitely could work, and that'd be an amazing thing to see. While I'm here, oh. All right. Well, anyhow, I do want to talk to you about oil prices. Let me do a quick check in the ghetto, make sure I haven't missed anything. We're good. We're good there, and I'm good here. And Renee Collins is saying over in the ghetto, the van said the Gulf states are going to pay up, but only if the U.S. say they can. Which I kind of like that. If we have access to being like basically being clearance, that they have to make us happy in order for them to get money from someone else, that's ideal. That's the best you could possibly hope for. Okay. So about the whole oil situation. What they're saying is that scouring the Strait of Hormuz for mines could take weeks. So we're not going to be able to just have them come steaming through there so fast because there's still mines out there. Ensuring the Strait of Hormuz is safe from mines could delay a return to normal shipping traffic by weeks following a deal to reopen the waterway, shipping and maritime security sources say. The operation by conventional minesweepers and state-of-the-art underwater drones could continue for 40 to 50 days before many insurance shipping oil companies are confident enough to sail through, according to assessments from 5 Western maritime security sources. That's a long time. That's 7 weeks. That could potentially hold up tens of millions of barrels in oil, in addition to the oil supply from the Gulf already blocked since the United States and Israel attacked Iran on February 28th, according to estimates based on pre-war flows. Every export barrel from the Gulf is crucial given stockpiles to the world's largest economies are heading towards the lowest levels since at least 2003, according to analysis last week by the U.S. Energy Information Administration. Even though Iran and the U.S. quietly helped ships pass through the blockaded waterway in recent weeks, shipping officials continue to urge caution after the U.S. and Iran said on Sunday that they had reached a preliminary agreement to end their war and reopen the strait. Quote, "We still consider it very risky for ships to commence transits at this point," said Jacob Larson, a chief safety and security officer at Shipping Association BIMCO. The threat of mines in the area remains a concern immediately, as well as further down the line, and mine-free routes need to be established. It's unclear how many mines Iran may have laid in the strait, which handle 20% of the world's daily supply of oil and liquefied natural gas before the war. 20%. A fifth of the world's oil and LNG. Iran, which has sought to assert its control over the waterway during the war, has threatened to deploy naval mines without commenting on whether its forces have planted them. The U.S. has indicated that mines are a risk and says that it's targeted Iranian mine-laying boats. On June 2nd, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told a Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearing that Iran had mined large segments of the Hormuz international waters. In a June 11th note, Germany's Navy, citing information from the U.S. and British navies, said mines were located in 4 locations around the strait, adding that the mine locations could not be verified by Germany. Even the possibility of mines could deter companies. A supertanker and its cargo of crude are worth about $300 million. So war risk underwriters, oil and tanker companies would need assurances that passage is safe before they attempt to pass through the straits, shipping industry officials said. One sea mine is enough to have fatalities, said Renee Kofod Olsen, CEO of V Group, one of the world's top technical ship and crew management specialists, which has 13 ships stuck in the Gulf. That's obviously a massive issue for global shipping. When asked last week about how many mines have been laid and locations, the spokesperson with the U.S. Military Central Command, CENTCOM, said it was unable to publicly discuss specifics for operational security reasons. That's not surprising. So they can't tell us. U.S. military efforts for ensuring the Strait of Hormuz is fully clear of sea mines laid by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps are ongoing. The White House did not respond to requests for comment Oman's Maritime Security Center warned mariners on May 30th navigating around its side of the strait to exercise caution after it described the sighting of an object suspected to be a floating mine. Oman's information ministry did not immediately respond to requests for comment. As Iran and the U.S. negotiated over the interim deal to halt the war, both sides enabled some ships to exit the strait. U.S. President Donald Trump said last week that the U.S. had been taking millions of barrels of oil out, and Reuters reported in May on how some states have struck deals with Tehran to secure passage for vehicles. The number of ships passing through the strait increased to an average of 12 to 15 vessels a day in recent weeks, according to the shipping data that can be verified. That doesn't sound like a lot at all, 12 to 15 vessels. That's a fraction of the 120 to 140 ships that passed through the waterway daily before the war. In March, before the agreement of a tenuous ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran, Iran's National Defense Council said any attempt by the enemy to target Iranian coasts or islands would lead to mining of access routes and communication lines throughout the Gulf, according to Iran's semi-official Fars news agency, including mines and floating mines. Britain, France, and Germany have all dispatched warships and minesweepers to the Middle East in anticipation of potential mine-clearing operation. Corey Ransland, chief executive of the maritime security group Dryad Global, said even after U.S. strikes aimed at destroying Iranian military capacity included mine-laying vessels and stocks, Iran was estimated to possess up to 1,000 naval mines. If there's a minefield detected, it potentially take weeks or months to remove the threat. Arsenio Dominguez, head of the UN's shipping agency, on Monday welcomed the deal to reopen Hormuz. It's an important step, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So we're not going to be back to shipping as usual tomorrow or next week. It's going to take several weeks. But this should start to bring down the price of oil. Should start to bring it down. You would think, right? I mean, we should be working our way there. We're getting there. It only goes to show you, by the way, this is part of what I was telling you for months now. I was like, you can't just start remedying this situation in August. This needs to be remedied very soon because you need to basically have prices come down to a normal place and be sitting there for a couple of months before elections. So, you know, we reestablish a healthy normal when people are sort of, you know, back to like what is normal and sort of feeling like good about this exercise as opposed to feeling really terrible about it. But then when we're talking about gas prices, so oil and gas prices, they don't just jump right back down a second later. That's the reality of the situation. They go up really fast. They don't come down so fast. And that's one of the things that basically have me commenting about what a scam the oil companies are. Oil and gas supplies could take months to return to normal after the Iran deal, according to experts. High oil and gasoline prices and energy supply problems won't be solved overnight despite the agreement to end the Iran war, opening the Strait of Hormuz announced Sunday. It will likely take months before energy companies can resume operations to the point of meeting the world's demand, according to energy experts. The slow pace of process of shipping and refining crude oil and doubts about the security of traveling through the strait mean the effect won't be seen immediately. Ships loaded with crude oil have been stranded in the Persian Gulf for more than 3 months, unable to safely travel through the waterway through which about a fifth of the world's oil and gas supplies typically travel. Quote, it's going to take time for people to feel comfortable and for insurance to be in place, particularly get people on the ground to restart some of those assets, said Daniel Evans, global head of fuels and refining research at S&P Global Energy. Still, oil prices slipped early Monday after the deal was announced. Brent crude, the international standard, was down $3.45 at $83 per barrel. U.S. benchmark crude oil lost $4 to 80.85 per barrel. Those prices are still well above the roughly $70 per barrel oil was trading before the war started. As the higher prices unwind, ships that have been stranded will have to exit the strait, and then new tankers will come in and be loaded. To bring a ship in, you need to be confident you've got a big enough window of safety to bring it in, load it, and move it out. Oil tankers also move slowly, he explained. It takes months to travel from the strait to distant countries, deliver the crude oil to refinery for processing, and then arrive at its final destination. In addition, some producers in the Middle East paused extracting of oil from the ground, known as a shut-in, when they ran out of storage space. Restarting those operations can be a slow process. Countries such as Saudi Arabia and the UAE, where there are alternate pipelines or routes besides the Strait of Hormuz, may be among the quickest to resume production, said Alan Gelder. But places like Iraq could be much more challenged because they've had a much bigger shut-in and their fields are more difficult. It may well take about a year before they get back. Investment in the energy system, which could take years to see results, ground to a halt after the strait's closure. Countries that shut down oil production won't want to restart until they know there's a stable, durable strait and that a ceasefire will last more than 30 or 60 days, said Daniel Stone, the senior fellow at the Center of Global Energy Policy at Columbia. We don't know what open means or what the speed of evacuation of trapped material is going to be. So this had Tim Burchett wrote on X, "Great work, real Donald Trump. Now big oil has to find another way to gouge us." That's obviously House member Tim Burchett. To which there was a quote tweet of this from U.S. Oil and Gas Association saying, "Good evening, Congressman. Longtime fan of yours. Thank you for your numerous invitations to attend your fundraisers that we received on June 5th, June 4th, June 3rd, June 1st, and June 1st again, May 29th, May 26th, May 11th, and May 6th. Like, you're sitting here in public bashing us, and you're inviting us to all these different fundraisers. We disagree with your statement below, and we would just have to agree to disagree. What we don't understand is if you don't like our industry, why do you keep asking us for money?" Of course he's going to ask you for money. Of course he's going to ask you for money, but that doesn't mean you don't gouge. That doesn't mean you're not gouging. He's calling you out that you basically, this is what happens invariably. They raise the price as soon as there's any sort of trouble in the Middle East. They've got plenty of reserves, but they just jack up the prices immediately. Overnight, gas prices will shoot up 20, 30, 40, 50 cents. That's what happens. It's the same gas you had in the reserve before. It's not like you're paying for it right away, but you'll hit us right away. So yeah, the reality is I understand that they have to sit there and speculate as to what's going to happen with respect to prices. I understand that they feel like when our reserves are emptying out, we need to, be able to cover the cost of restocking it. So you always, how is it that invariably, it doesn't matter whether you're talking about Exxon or Shell, it doesn't matter which gas company you're talking about, they're always speculating exactly the same all the time. Just stop it. Just stop it. Just stop it. So a lot of people are basically trying to compare this and saying, is Ben Rhodes. Poor Ben Rhodes. Poor Ben Rhodes of Pod Save the World. They're trying to make this look as if this is a major loss for Trump. That this entire Iran thing was a fiasco, it was a disaster. You're going to hear that claim, and I'm going to hesitate before calling this a big win. I'm going to hesitate before calling it a big win. I will say this: let's just march forward a week or two and assume that we really are done with the conflict, okay, along on the terms that we're talking about, that JD Vance is laying out there. And obviously, there are a lot of ways that this can go sideways. There's a lot of ways that this deal can get funky, and Israel attacking Lebanon and the deal with access in the Strait of Hormuz. And when you're talking about a very volatile region in a very volatile country in the state of Iran, things can get wonky in a heartbeat. But assuming that things, progress the way that we're anticipating when they were hopeful that they will, based on what happened over this weekend. So you're basically left wondering, okay, the Ben Rhodes of the world, that's this guy, Ben Rhodes from Pod Save the World, New York Times, MS author, blah, blah, blah. So I've always wanted a journalist to ask Trump this question. What were the terms of the JCPOA? Huge indictment of journalism in the U.S. that no one has done that. And his criticisms that were on deal were treated as genuine positions. They were genuine positions. Pod Save the World. Yeah, no, they were. It's so blasphemous, isn't it? Pod Save. It really sounds blasphemous. And Amuse basically said, hey, Grok, can you detail what criticisms President Trump has made about Obama's JCPOA deal with Iran over the years? Be as detailed and complete as possible. This is a beautiful thing. Trump has criticized the JCPOA for years as one of the worst and most one-sided deals ever. Key issues: sunset clauses that expire, allowing Iran to develop nukes. Meaning, the sunset clause is, we're renting time from you that you're not building nukes, and once the time is over, you can go ahead and build nukes. No restrictions on ballistic missiles or terror activities. Massive sanctions relief funding the regime and proxies. Inadequate inspections. He stated it was defective at its core, only delayed the threat, enriched Iran without peace, and an embarrassment to the U.S. He withdrew the United States in May 2018, reimposing sanctions. So there was a follow-up. What was the follow-up? So someone's taking it out. Hold on a second, let me see if I can find it here. And the point is that this doesn't have a sunset clause, that we're not paying the funds ourselves, and also that we're not front loading the money. The only time you're getting access to the money is once you start actually complying with the deal. It's not that we're paying you and then say, please listen to us. It's that you're showing us that you're taking active steps. And if we're able to get the enriched uranium, this now starts to sound like a really much, much better deal at the end of the day. Potentially, if you're looking at the potential win here, the potential upside as to what we can get out of this, what do we have? We have Islamo-fascist world terror threat Khomeini dead. We have, in theory, uranium gone. So, and their agreement, plus their agreement not to build anymore. That's pretty much what Trump was looking for. In theory, we could have more signers on the Abraham Accord, which means that we actually are looking towards having a more peaceful Middle East. The more stability there is in the world, the more prosperous the world ends up being. So that blessing of prosperity gets enjoyed by us as well as by anyone. So in that sense, this could potentially be a big deal. This could be, it's infinitely better than the JCPOA, infinitely better. But that's looking at it again. This is envisioning all things going right. And I'm hesitant to jump on that bandwagon and just make the assumption that all things are going to go right, because we're dealing with a very volatile region. So we don't know that all things are going to go right. So the naysayers are going to sit there saying, oh, no, this is not the same thing, the same kind of deal that Obama did. That's crap. It's not at all the same kind of deal that Obama did. But it's something that has potential to be much better. In a worst case scenario, Khomeini's dead. So there's that. That's good. That's a good thing. I knew I was missing this. I knew there was this. I had this other clip, this other thing on X when I was talking about oil prices with you just a few moments ago. This is from Oil and Gas saying, please don't shoot the messenger. But keep in mind gasoline retailers raise prices immediately because they're trying to reduce for future replacement costs. Oversimplification, but pump prices oftentimes reflect not what is in the storage tank this morning, what the likely cost to replace it 2 weeks from now will be. That's why there's not immediate correlation to prices on the backside. Why not? Why can't you just tell us? Why can't you just charge what's going to cost to replace it? Why wouldn't it be on the backside? So this was the fight I had. I told you I was going to share with you like the fight that I had with someone who ended up blocking me, and I'm just like, I don't even understand. Tell me where I'm wrong here. I don't even understand this. I know no one saw this because it was like sort of like a sub comment on a sub comment on a sub comment. So you kind of have to really be stalking me to have seen this little fight that I got in. But so this guy here, SMS Pirate, said, and while it's one thing to say oil man bad, it's another to realize the entire software design that runs the entire industry is set up on these pricing and cost models. So unless you want wildcat crazy market manipulation, you should count your blessings. If the world went dark tomorrow, we'd all suffer. Will we be as eager to play the role of sharing the falling prices at our own expense? What? I don't know who SMS Pirate is. I never will know who SMS Pirate is because at this point in my life, he's blocked me. But so I said all the competing oil companies raised precisely the same levels instantly since long before there was such a thing as software. I remember this happening in the 70s. There was no software. They were doing it at least since Jimmy Carter. And frankly, they're probably doing it since the 60s or 50s. But you're sitting here saying like, oh, well, they have the software design that runs the industry is set up on these pricing costs. What are you talking? I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Now, I was not mind you, maybe it's me, okay? I don't think I was being very aggressive here. I didn't say, you're a jerk, you're an idiot. I think that, maybe you should reassess before you actually write words that are just gibberish. This was very factual. It's a factual point back. They're all doing this since there was such a thing as software. Is this rude? Am I being rude? I'm trying very hard to learn. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy who's like just that guy, okay? I'm trying very hard. I used to be that guy. Trust me, I was that guy, okay? I was that guy for a long time, trying very hard not to be that guy. So I was purposefully just like not being very aggressive. And the next thing I know, oh my God. Where was it? Yeah, why can't I see it here? Show me the comment back. Oh, is it because he blocked me? Is that why? I'm gonna have to find it now. No, I'm gonna have to find it. Fortunately, I didn't write that much today, but I got you this far in. I can't leave you hanging now. Can't leave you hanging now. That was a different thing I had fun with. That's the next one. Here it is. Here it is. See, he said, I did not say the software caused it. I said all the models were built in the same logic. You should learn to read before you try to one-up someone who helped develop the models. Oh, I'm talking to the software designer here. I didn't know that. This is changing everything. You should try to read before you try to one-up someone who helped develop the models. Betting your tech knowledge is what you pull out of your ass when you run out of logic BS. What the hell? I was like, what the heck did I walk in on? I don't know what I walked in on here. I don't understand this. All I just said is, hey, look, this is what they've been doing since long. I don't even know how this is relevant to what I'm talking about. I was making a point. He got very, very aggressive with me. This was very aggressive. So I responded. If the software models were designed based on the same greedy model they employed in the 70s, what role is the software playing? It's not doing anything. The software is simply designed to manifest the greed they always had. So your defense based on software is meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. Still very polite. There's no expletives. There was no, I would have read expletives. but I wasn't deriding him. I was just pointing out, what are you saying? This doesn't make any sense. You're sitting here saying that you're bringing in software as if this is really an important factor, and I'm saying this software, according to you, is not a factor at all. It's not doing anything. Why is it doing anything? It's just the software is. It's not like some evil software came in and took over everything. What is this? What is even happening here? I thought I was being very, very nice here. Very, very nice. People are mean. People are mean. The industry is run with the software, you stupid effing. We took manual process trees and models and coded them and created data infrastructure to support decision trees, purchasing, speculative pricing markets, and you're too stupid to pull your head out of your smug ass to see no one disagree with previous corruption. It's embedded in the industry, unmitigated jackass. Still not refuting my points. Still not refuting my points. Nothing here is refuting my point. Nothing. I don't care how you built the software. I don't get it. I don't get it. Nothing here is refuting anything I said. No, because they anticipate VSync. The reason it is because they anticipate prices when prices are going up, but they don't anticipate prices when prices are coming down. See, right now, everyone's expecting prices should likely come down. Oh, prices are going to be coming down. Strait of Hormuz is opening up. Supplies are going to start flooding in more and more. Prices should be coming down. So you should be dropping your prices at the gas tank to reflect that we're coming back to normal levels. But they don't do that. No, they don't do that. Prices go up really, really fast. They don't bounce back really, really fast. So I ran into online Carmelo Anthony. I did. I don't know. Keyboard Anthony. Keyboard Carmelo. That's what I ran into. Oh my God. People are so mad. So angry. I knew I saw this also. That's not it. That's not what I was looking for. All right. Anyway, bottom line is, I think the deal overall is if it's what Vance is saying, if we end up signing on this, we've done fairly well. We've done very, very well. Question whether, Israel sparring with Lebanon is going to end up kiboshing it. And, if we get our hands on that uranium, and what access we're going to have to oversee and monitor for the future. That's the devil in the details. But if this deal goes through as promised, this is a great deal. This is a great job. This entire conflict was like a big, big win. Ultimately, we will look back on this as being Trump's success in Iran, which is what we're looking for, right? That when we look back on this entire thing, this comes back as like another win on the international stage for Trump. And that's what he's potentially looking at if he can get this deal done. If he can get this deal done, and we're not footing the bill, and Iran is denuked, and Khomeini's dead, how can anyone call that anything other than a smashing success? Smashing success. So we'll see. We will see. I will still keep you updated on that as there are potentially further developments. Trump cleared the path. He brought out 22 tankers in one day. Good. Hopefully. He sent me something on Twitter. Is it money? I saw Hans sent me something. I'm gonna get to that in a moment before I move. Once I wrap this up. Oh, so on Twitter, you asked me, why should Israel abide by the deal? They fought together with us, and now when it comes to peace deal, they're iced out. 2, and since when can a president of one country dictate a peace deal freight other countries, for example? Yeah, I don't look. What they say, they're right. They are an independent nation. They also should realize, though, that if in fact they scuttle this deal, though, they're probably going to be flying solo. Like Trump will be like, F it. So they're walking a dangerous path. They're walking a very dangerous path. I'm sure they calculated all of this. That's part of their calculus, but they're walking a dangerous path because, if they scuttle this deal by continuing to engage in fighting, so that could theoretically really alienate America from Israel. So they're walking in a dangerous road. At the end of the day, it's all siyata d'shmaya. Oil pricing, as we know, it started in 1983. They created a commodities market. It was supposed to fix volatility in the 70s. Yeah, it's done phenomenal. It's done wonderful. Truth is, oil could have been a lot more volatile. Could have been a lot more volatile than it was. Maybe it did help. It's possible. I wouldn't dismiss that it had any positive impact. I got another thing sent to me from one of my viewers here. Everyone's sending me stuff on Twitter now. That's what I'm seeing. So this was also sent to me. Some tweet from the this came from Mental Blanking Interval sent me this. It's on point. So let's pull this up. Hormuz opening. What is priced in? So Iran USA finally signed the deal on Twitter, and the Strait officially opens on Friday. Free trial with no tolls, assuming Israel doesn't escalate again. Everyone is celebrating a swift return of supply, but if we rewind back to the Morgan Stanley oil research from June 1, today's market price means the opening is already priced to an absolute perfection. In fact, the market has treated the best case where prices rapidly converge down to $80 as given, leaving zero margin for error. Back when Brent was trading around $92, Morgan Stanley noted a glaring puzzle. The current supply shock is statistically the largest in history, yet produced a price that sits exactly at the 50th percentile of the 20-year inflation-adjusted distribution. So in other words, it should have been a lot more inflation than what we got. 2, now that we already collapsed to $80, we've hit what MS calls the mode of historical distribution, the price that occurs most frequently. This is what the most common price is for oil. MS explicitly, this is Morgan Stanley, explicitly models $80 Brent as their 2H 2027 best case, and it requires a long runway to get there. For third quarter of 2026, their best case is actually $100 a barrel. By forcing the price to $80 today, the market has complete front-run reality. Gradual return versus instant miracle. 4, the market is trading like a signed deal automatically puts 11 MBD of offline Gulf crude back into global pipelines. Morgan Stanley's modeling explicitly fine-tunes the production recovery post-Hormuz opening to 75% recovery over 4 months. So they're already treating it as if like we're operating at full capacity, even though we're not. The model, a 2-speed recovery. While production will rebound quicker in Saudi Arabia and the UAE, it will take much longer to normalize in Iraq, Kuwait, and Qatar. The remaining 25% of lost supply will likely drag out well into 2027. Because the return of supply is slow and backloaded, Morgan Stanley estimates an implied global liquids deficit of 4.5 MBD in third quarter 2026. Yet, the current $8 price tag reflects a market that is increasingly pricing a clean, frictionless, and near-term return of supply across the whole curve. So what they're basically saying is the market is almost as if the market is being manipulated to not account for these potential issues that can come up down the road. The mechanisms that shielded the oil market during the closure are now severely challenged. The SPR cliff, the cushion from large U.S. net oil experts, is hitting a wall. On current schedules, global SPR releases are set to decline sharply from negative 2.5 MBD in April to June, and just around 0.7 MBD in July and August. So we're going to have less oil being released soon. U.S. inventory depletion. Both U.S. diesel and gasoline inventories are already well below 5-year seasonal lows, moving towards minimum operational requirements. The U.S. cannot keep exporting at this pace without starving its domestic markets. So basically what they're saying is it's a good time to invest in oil going back up. China's September cycle. China has locked in an unusually low amount of spot crude for 5 consecutive months, driving sustained inventory draws. The probability is building that Chinese crude buyers must return to the market for September delivery cycle right now to stem the decline. So the takeaway is from current levels, the market has left itself completely exposed. It's locked in the ultimate best case scenario before a single tanker even transits the Strait on Friday. As Morgan Stanley concludes, when the curve flattens this aggressively, risk to oil prices have a positive skew. So meaning that over time, we can expect that they tend to go back up. So this oil crisis is not quite over. We think it is, but they're saying basically it's not. That's what the experts are saying. They're saying, we're not so sure. Now the experts are far too often very, very wrong. But I think that this issue of high volatility is in oil prices is something that we're likely to be dealing with for a couple of months. The objective is, like I said, it's got to be stabilized. It's got to be stabilized by like the middle of the summer. It's really the price of gas. We need to see a nice flat under $3 here in Jersey. Not because my own gas tank, but I know it's a reflection of like a healthy price in America that Americans are comfortable with. All right. I spent a lot longer talking about this than I anticipated, but well worth it. The biggest issue with USA oil is we cannot refine our own crude. Our refineries are designed to refine a heavy crude, which other countries produce. I know Venezuela has very heavy crude oil. It's a weird thing, isn't it? Why would we not be able to refine our own crude? I don't get that. So you might have heard that yesterday was well, I guess technically in my time zone it's 2 days ago because now it's June 16th here. So, but June 14th, Sunday, was the president's birthday, 80th birthday, and he celebrated it in we'll call it Trump style, by inviting the UFC to his front lawn of the White House. This has caused a lot of discussion online. I'm going to say this. I should preface this by telling you that I am not personally a fan of UFC. I couldn't name 3 UFC fighters if you paid me. I don't follow UFC. UFC's never been my thing. But that being said, that doesn't mean it's not a uniquely American type of activity. Like I can respect that. Much like race cars, college football. These are things that I recognize are uniquely American that I personally just never got into. College football is the thing that I've come closest to. Really, the reason I can't follow college football. I probably would be a college football fan, but for the fact that all the games are played on Shabbos. But and to disregard And I think that a lot of people who are claiming shock at the outrageous display on the White House lawn are simply they're completely missing the point. Well, yeah, is it something that someone an elitist might call gauche or over the top, or that in high society they would refer to as being boorish? Yeah, probably would. Not probably. They definitely would. Who cares? It's basically steeping ourselves in, we're America. We're freaking America. This is what we do. We have rodeos. You don't. We're America. Have I ever been to a rodeo? No. But I recognize a significant portion of our country really enjoys them. Much like NASCAR. I can't explain it. They do. They like UFC. Trump likes UFC. God bless. He's president of the United States. His 80th birthday. Coming up to the 250th anniversary of this country. Why would you not celebrate the country in something that is uniquely American? He wants to go out there and have a rodeo? God bless. Do it. I don't care. Front lawn of the White House. Is something that I particularly personally would enjoy? No. Do I think that it's something that looks majestic? Not really, but I don't care. It's not my opinion that matters. Makes people happy, makes him happy. He's president of the United States. So what? Let him do it. Oh my God. One woman who had a real issue with it. So green with envy. She's so angry. Remember, during today's literal cage match, Hillary Clinton says, on the White House grounds, no matter what, it's not his house, it's our house. Get a hat, coaster, or sticker. Ding, 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 ding. See, I got a house. I got my little thing. To support groups and candidates who will respect the form and function of the people's house. This is Hillary. Oh, yeah, that's right. See, I'm wearing a hat. Yeah, not his house. It's our house. Yeah. Well, it's definitely not her house. It's definitely not her house. So bitter. So bitter. What was amazing about this post, the only reason I found this post, and somehow in my feed it ended up, was it was quote tweeted by Buzz Patterson. Who's Buzz Patterson? I don't know. I have no idea. He's a former carrier of the nuclear football, author, pilot, former carrier of the nuclear football. So there you go. Buzz Patterson. It's a great name. It's a very American name, Buzz Patterson. And then no other nationality is going to have a Buzz Patterson. Buzz Patterson. No Canadian is Buzz Patterson. No. Sorry, Frenchie. No Buzz Pattersons with you. So Buzz Patterson, husband, dad, speaker, author, pilot, former carrier of the nuclear football, had thoughts about Hillary Clinton's talking about, it's not his house, it's our house. It's not his house. You can't do that. You're with your stupid UFC. We don't like the big flashing lights. You get Vince McMahon, resurrect him from the dead and have him come out there saying, are you ready? Are you ready to rumble? I don't care. They can have wrestling. That's right. Wrestling on the front lawn. WWE. Bring it on out there. I don't care. Buzz Patterson responding, oh, Hillary, you ignorant slut. That's an SNL reference in case you missed it. As the senior military aide to President Bill Clinton, your military aide, the officer who carried the nuclear football in and out of the White House every single day, I saw the people's house up close alongside you, Hillary Clinton. Spare us the sanctimonious lectures and turn on your replies, you coward. Because she didn't have no replies available. When you and Bill left in January 2001, your staff ransacked the place. Remember? Oh no, it's the people's house. It's the people's house. It's not her house. It's the people's house. She ransacked the place, You know how bitter they were? W keys were ripped off of the keyboard. You know why W keys were ripped off the keyboard? Because they were mad that George W. Bush beat Gore in a contested election. So they decided to rip off the W from every keyboard like babies. So because the way he was distinguished from his father, George Bush, was he was George W. Bush. So like, oh, he's known as W, so they're going to basically try and dig in on him. Ha ha, we're taking all the W's off our keyboards. You stupid child. Phone lines cut, desk drawers glued shut like a freaking lunatics. Obscene voicemails and vulgar graffiti left behind. Presidential seals and silverware stolen. Furniture damaged. This is what this crazy bitch and her did when she was leaving, when she and Bill were leaving. The GAO confirmed the vandalism and theft. It wasn't transition friction. It was a disgrace. She's a disgrace. You trashed the people's house on your way out the door, and now you're clutching pearls over Trump? I remember, Hillary. I was there. Remember? The hypocrisy is Olympic level, Miss Clinton, and you know it. You, of all people, know it. The American people have long memories, especially this one, me. We remember who actually looted the place. Shut up in color. Shut up in color. Give her a crayon in her book. Shut up in color, old woman. Shut up in color. Oh my God. I gotta remember that phrase. Shut up in color. So this is an epic response. Epic response. Such a phenomenal takedown. This coward who hides. She blocks any replies because she knows. She knows. She knows what's coming. Oh my God, that was great. That was such a great response. Oh wow. Cole gifting 5 Good Logic memberships. Welcome back, my brothers. Good to see you. Who'd you bring? I like how it comes out purple here. Isn't that crazy? It used to be green, and now it comes out purple. It's like just purple. I love that purple color. It looks good on you, Not a Cult. I don't get the Not a Cult reference. Oh, Not a Cult. Oh. That's pretty bad. That was pretty bad on my part. Cult reference. Oh, Not a Cult. Oh. That was pretty weak. Bad job, Joe. Bad job, Joey. Who'd you bring on in here? Following 5 people brought into the following courtesy of Not a Cult. That would include you, Boosh McFadden, Fletcher Boy. Look at that. He got gifted. He looked so excited. Did you see how he got so excited? That's so nice. He got so excited. Hey, Boosh, welcome to the following Boosh. I just want to see. I like that. You should express. I hope you express your gratitude. Did you express your gratitude, Boosh? Well, you said I got gifted. I think we know he's appreciative. Let me see. I gotta see if I can find. Let's see if I can find you, Boosh. Let me see if I can find you, Boosh. Scroll up. Let's see in the comment on my screen. I see it when I go into the chat there. But we got Boosh. Look, I don't even know why we gotta go any further. We got Boosh. Boosh! Well, welcome to following Boosh. What else we got? Thanks. We also got Sir Thriver Z8L DJ. Or is it Fish DJ? PHHS DJ. I don't know what to do with that. I mentioned Fletcher Boy. Hey, Fletcher Boy. Good to see you, brother. And also HTK Bass Player. Welcome to the following. Please bear in mind that the following is not at all a cult type of cult. It's not a cult. Like at all. Type of cult. And I'm very much not the leader of the following. I'm just a host. But welcome. We also heard from this guy here. Oh, guy. Oh, guy. I'm so happy those rep rates never returned to the White House. Oh, my God. Me too. Can you imagine if she won in 2016? Oh, my God. The world would have melted. Clinton's a real-life example of what was going on before the global flood. They are antediluvian. People like them were responsible for God's judgment. May God have mercy on their souls. You're kinder than I am because I don't pray for the mercy on their souls. I really don't. I don't pray for mercy on their souls. No, I think that they are very, very dark people. I think they're very, very dark people. In my personal opinion, I have no more evidence than you have. In my personal opinion, they've murdered a lot of people. In jealous greed, they're just contemptible human beings. Terrible, terribly evil. Terribly, terribly evil. So bitter. Every vice you could possibly imagine manifested between Bill and Hillary. Every envy, greed, lust, Hillary accomplishing nothing, her sloth, everything. Everything you think is bad in this world can be found in Bill and Hillary Clinton. It's Demon's couple of the year, 40 years in a row running. USAID money gone. Hillary reduced to hawking hats, coasters, and stickers. It's true. What happened to the foundation, Hillary? She stole to China and had to return it. Trailer trash. Loser. Ah, such a loser, that woman. God, so thankful. I was like, that's what we see. We don't thank God often enough for the fact that he showed us how terrible it could have been. He's like, you might get this. You should get this. You think you're going to get this. And this is what I'm protecting you from. And not only that, I'm going to give you Trump. It gets even better. It gets even better. I'm giving you Trump. What was this? Oh, okay. So what happened this weekend, in case you're wondering, was that Trump hosted the UFC fights at White House as part of America 250 events. President Trump hosted UFC Fight Night on the White House grounds on Sunday as part of programming for America's 250th anniversary. Trump watched the matches from a cage-side seat on the South Lawn, sitting between First Lady Melania Trump, UFC CEO Dana White. Trump's entire immediate family was in attendance. Also at the event were several high-profile business leaders and administration officials. The fight night generated enthusiasm among Trump supporters, but drew rebuke from critics and skepticism from some Republicans. Oh, go cry in your hat. You stupid, whiny losers. Protesters rallied outside the White House, where attendees flocked into fan zones. It was an eventful birthday for the president, who also announced an agreement had been reached with Iran. Such a big day for him. Such a big day. Let's hear this report about this fight.
After an adrenaline-fueled White House celebration,
big right hand.
President Trump is en route to Evian, France, departing in the wee hours this morning for the G7 summit. In nearby Geneva, protests erupted in the streets. Thousands of demonstrators marched, some confronting police. The president at odds with many European allies over the Iran war and other issues, but heading to the meeting after announcing that deal and coming off a late night at the White House, a celebration of the nation's 250th anniversary.
Look at that. Blue Angels.
Bright lights and bruising mixed martial arts.
It's a huge right hand. Talk is covering up. Big elbow. Wow. Do it.
Far from UFC's typical indoor competition, the president and the UFC's Dana White appearing together. Longtime fight.
Look at that. Look at that.
Far from UFC's typical.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So Trump. It's so Trump.
Typical indoor competition, the president and the UFC's Dana White appearing together. Longtime fight fan President Trump invited the UFC and its corporate sponsors to take over the White House grounds.
Got to thank President Trump for making this happen. Thank you, Dana, all the UFC, everybody. This is unbelievable.
Rooms steeped in history used for the locker room.
The Oval Office used as a locker room. I love it. Go for it. It's his house.
Show staging, a $60 million project that brought the UFC's 8-sided cage, the Octagon, to the White House under the Claw, taller than the famed presidential residence. Cabinet officials and dignitaries among the 4,000 guests to mark the nation's founding and the president's 80th birthday.
Freedom at the White House on Donald Trump's birthday. What an event.
The event, with a $60 million price tag, has faced some criticism from Democrats.
We're in an economic crisis.
Economic crisis. It's not right. Economic crisis.
And he's playing the Great Gatsby with his big spectacles on the White House lawn.
But the president front and center after an...
It's the 250th anniversary. It happens to be his 80th birthday also. He's making a celebration for several weeks. It's our 250th anniversary. That only comes around once.
Unprecedented fight night set on public property.
When they're complaining about the reflecting pools, it's like, you don't care about, it's like, why can't we have anything nice? Can't have anything nice. Now, is this my thing? I told you at the outset, this isn't my thing. A lot of Americans think that this is really nice. A lot of Americans really like it. So God bless them. Frankly, a lot more of them than would enjoy a freaking opera. If it was a whole opera thing, you would sit there saying, you would, everyone thought the elites would be like, oh, isn't that such a beautiful spectacle? A lot fewer people think that's a beautiful spectacle than the UFC fight that we saw on Sunday. So to hell with you. This is America, baby. It's America. This is red, white, and blue right there. A lot more American than the stupid operas. Ridiculous. I'll remind you also of this. This is Democrats complaining about how unbecoming it is. Okay. These are the same people who basically brought trans onto the lawn to basically give you this. And it's just like, stop with the pearl clutching. I don't need to hear your pearl clutching. Ridiculousness. You brought the most disgusting thing imaginable onto the White House lawn. You want to sit here complaining about Trump celebrating 250th anniversary by bringing UFC there? Please. These stupid, disgusting spectacles. We see what culture is these days. We saw the opening ceremonies in Paris. We know what culture is. Culture is basically whatever hedonistic pedophilia you guys are into now. Just stop it. No one cares. There's a lot more wholesome, a lot more American. You sit there whining.
Aboard Air Force One, the president was posting about what he called the incredible success of the event and promising history-making fireworks for the 4th of July. Now, there will be a mood shift as he arrives in Europe, where the Iran conflict and the
all embarrassed that they weren't part of this conflict, which looks like it's going to be another sweeping success for Trump. So they're all feeling really bad about that now.
ongoing war with Ukraine will be key topics with G7 leaders. The White House also confirmed that the president spoke to Vladimir Putin this weekend. Craig?
Kelly O'Donnell for us at the White House. Kelly O'Donnell.
So there you go. There you go. We're not done with this story yet. There's one more little wrinkle. One more little wrinkle from this story. One more little wrinkle before I close out this segment. Hello. Here's my late fee. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's great seeing you, Aaron. Are you not entertained? Oh, guys. Laptops seem to have evidence. All those investigators who saw the videos on someone's hubby's computer shook their souls. How can anyone forget that? And how can anyone deny it happened? There's no one left to ask. They just like the killing fields. The killing fields. Terrible, terribly evil people, the Clintons. Terribly, terribly evil people. And the Democrats pretend that it's like, you know, that there's nothing wrong with them, that they're upstanding Americans. Disgusting. Bunch of white trash Americans. They're like, ugh. Eighth rule of Fight Club: if this is your first time, you have to fight. In the cage with you, snowflakes. Is that the eighth rule? the 8th movie? Fight Club is one of my all-time top 5 movies. I love Fight Club. I thought it was a great movie. It was a great movie. Phenomenal movie, Fight Club. What else I got? What else I got? Oh, I know what I had for you here. Yeah. So, first and foremost, while Trump was doing his thing, there was counter-programming and a live performance that the left was putting on. This is not a joke. Counter-programming from the left. So while they're having it's time and like motorcycle flips and stuff of that nature, let's look at the contrasts. Let's check out the contrasts. This is what's happening by the UFC.
If you lower our flags, we will raise them back up, baby.
This is what's happening with the left at the same time.
You can paint over our rainbows, but we'll paint an even brighter one to lead the way.
No one is getting left behind. Not this time. No one is getting left behind this time.
Oh, you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to
That's
lose.
Bette
You
Midler.
fascists bound to lose.
That was Bette Midler. Oh my God, there's more of that song I have for you. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, you fascists bound to lose. You're
Bette Midler.
bound to lose. You fascists bound to lose. Hey there, all you fascists. Let me.
It's like for people who miss the Andrews sisters. Like, what would the Andrews sisters look like if they were broke living out of a trailer and had to like go up there and perform?
Put you straight when you come for the rest of us. We'll fight you at the gate and you will lose. You fascists bound to lose. Oh, you fascists bound to lose.
Oh my God. Oh my God. These poor people. God. They found the only performer in honor of Trump's 80th birthday. They found the only performer still out there older than him. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's amazing. It's amazing. Well, there you go. There was one moment which caused a little bit of drama at the UFC. A little bit of drama went down at the UFC. A little bit of drama. Strange things were afoot at the Circle K. A little bit of drama went down at the UFC. This is White House on the White House lawn. UFC fighter Josh Hockett made his declaration, which got people very, very upset.
Alex Pereira, I want a shama on your mama. And lastly, Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America? Ladies and gentlemen.
So that was a little bit of a weird thing to do. That was a little bit of a weird thing to do. I'm like, Do I think it's possibly true? Yeah. I think it's possibly true. But why? Like why? Why? Just why? Just why? It's just like that's not a win. That's not a win. And I know that some of you might disagree with me on this. You'd be like, no. Here's what. Let's assume. Just let's assume for a moment. Let's assume it's true. Okay, let's assume it's actually true. Let's just assume it actually is true. He's right. Like, it still isn't a win to go out there and be talking about how is this something that it feels like a desperate reach to punch at people who have so many better reasons to punch at them. So many better reasons. And it makes you look crazy fringe. So even if you're right, which I said, I think it's a possibility. I can't rule it out as a possibility. Like a legitimate possibility. Okay? Let's assume. I'm not saying I'm not even calling it a probability. I'll say there's a legitimate possibility. Okay? Let's assume I think that there's a 5% chance. Okay? 5% chance. Let's say you think there's a 30% chance. Let's say you think there's an 85% chance. Okay? 85% chance. You're like, oh, no, it's totally true. What do you get out of going up there and doing that? You know what I'm saying? It's not like Michelle Obama's running for office. It's not like Michelle Obama is it's just it shows a level of obsession, which is, in that sense, it's beneath you. You know, I mean, there's plenty of dudes who became women. You don't talk about them. Why are you talking about Michelle Obama? You know? So in that sense, I feel like, yeah, come on. You're just desperately trying to find an audience to cheer for you and figuring if this is going to resonate with them. So I was kind of glad that the response was pretty muted. I don't think, you see little Harry Sisson over there crying that, this man should lose his platform. And I'm like, hey, please, you never should have had a platform in the first place. And you're sitting there, and we saw what's happening on the White House lawn, and there was no shame from you guys on that. But I just don't think that this is something that we can do better. We can do better. It's like, let's not obsess over it. I know there's a clip of Joan Rivers saying the same thing. It was pretty shocking. The people are saying that Michelle should file defamation. I don't think Michelle's going to be filing defamation. I don't think Michelle's filing defamation. I don't think Michelle's filing defamation. I don't think. Why would, although you can ask the question, why wouldn't Michelle file defamation? Why would you not? We saw Brigitte Macron file defamation. Why would Michelle not file defamation? I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. We'll see. Here we go. Let's see. I know some of you are going to disagree with me. That's okay. We can disagree on this. Joey, Big Mike Obama has a wee-wee. Prove me wrong. The only way I would believe it's not true is see the Only Friends video of Joe. Big Mike and a raccoon. Lady Logic. Joe, Big Mike, and a raccoon. Lady Logic, I apologize. Like I said, I think that there's legitimate chance. I didn't say it's a 1% chance. I said I think there's a legitimate chance. I think that there's a lot of reasons people have questions. A lot of reasons that people have questions. I'm simply saying, why are we even talking about them? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is Michelle Obama someone you're thinking about? In letting Michelle Obama occupy space in your head, you're already declaring it out there. It's already raising a white flag. Wow, that is sad to watch. Well, it isn't the song from Beaches, UFC 215. Mike was not happy with that, but Barry said several times in interviews. Oh, that guy, did he? I had here. A clip which was funny. Who was it? Yeah, this guy. Il Donaldo Trumpo, which is a guy who opened his account when Trump was banned as Il Donaldo Trumpo. We made it chat, pretending Michelle Obama's banned. So he's actually very good for me to find those opening memes. There's one thing, this was what he shared.
Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?
Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Hogan.
That's funny. That's funny. That was funny. That made me laugh. Anyway, I'm just saying, I think we can do better. That's funny. But yeah, I don't think we're going to be seeing defamation suits flying anytime soon. I don't think we're going to see it. It's like WWF. He wants to be a heel. They need to be hated. Oh, okay. So that would explain it. In the name of unity for 250th Wish One on Fire submitted bet. That would be great. There is, let me make sure I read this properly. I'm going to make sure I read this. I'm going to make sure I read it properly. There is a point 0.00000000000000001% chance it's not true. They took out Joan for saying the same thing. Joan Rivers, she did say like the last thing she ever said to a reporter when they asked about having a gay president was, "We already had one. Barack Obama was gay. Michelle Obama was a man." Like there's a clip of her saying that. I can find that for you in 2 seconds. Those of you who haven't yet seen it. I'm just saying, like, this was the clip of her. I knew it would take me just a second to find it.
You made a ton of news officiating the wedding in New York yesterday. Is this like a new cottage career move for you?
I am so excited.
Okay.
And I should do very well because I don't charge.
And do you think that the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman
we already
president?
have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. It's okay. She does
It doesn't seem like she's saying it as a joke. She seems to be saying it very sincerely. And that was like the last recorded statement that she ever made before she died. Like, I think that was like, I don't know, like a couple of days before she died. Maybe a couple months. Clinton smoked grass, Obama smoked sausage. Possibly true. Hands one says Trump also loved Broadway musicals. If he had one of those on the lawn, they would not complain. Yeah, it's true. The flyover was epic. He was not selling nights in Lincoln bedroom like some POTUS. Yeah, like some pimpin' POTUSes. At least he said he was not having the intern bring a humidor for the cigars. Ooh. Beasting says, I just DM'd you 2 tweets on X regarding all questions with good info. You did? Did I miss it? Did I miss it? I don't see it. I don't see a tweet from you, Beasting. Oh, you were mental blanking interval. Is that you? I assume that was you. I'm not going to be able to get back to that second one. Not going to be able to get back to that. How do we do our goals? It's sort of like really borderline. What I'll do is, because I sort of feel like we got close on the goal, but really didn't. So I'll do the 3 hours, but I'm not going to do the manifesto. I think that's a fair compromise. It's a fair compromise. It's a good way to do it. Yeah, it's like it's not really. There were a couple 20. There was a 50 in there. Oh, guys, really tried pushing me in there. You're right. I think it's a fair compromise, right? I mean, 3 hours. I'll do 3 hours. But I gotta get riled up for a manifesto. So I'll do 3 hours. Maybe we'll do a little call-in. I think that's good. I think that's fair. We'll call it this. Goal? Goal? Sorta? Goal? I don't know. Yeah, that's good. Anyway. Where are we at? I'm doing that's fair, right? 3 hours is fair. And even I'll have some calling. But while we're still on Obama, he's having a little bit of problems. He's having a little bit of problems. Wow. Black contractors are fuming at Barack Hussein Obama, saying they've not even been paid for the abomination of a library set to open Friday in Chicago. You can follow that with you can keep your doctor. Construction costs surged to nearly $1 billion. Oh no! And he hasn't paid. He owes $1 billion. He hasn't paid. So many of our black contractors are complaining they have not got their money. A lot of the black community newspapers do not know. What a disgrace. I'm talk to you about potential legal ramifications here.
Subcontractors are claiming they haven't been paid yet for the work on the project.
So many of our black contractors are complaining about they have not got their money. But the other side of it, a lot of the black community and the newspapers do not know that these people have not been paid. Contractors,
and they never will. They never will, because only Fox News will cover it. You're not going to see this on ABC. You're not seeing this on CBS. Oh, but what about the poor black people? These are the only black people. These are black people being. Look, Obama spent his entire 8 years there basically doing nothing for the black community. Nothing for them. Nothing. Nothing to help with health insurance costs, despite all the stupid Obamacare. Nothing to help them. Who helps historically black colleges and universities? Trump. Any sort of opportunity zones from? No, that's Trump too. What did he bring to the black community? They finally had a black president. 200 years. They wait for a black president. Finally have a black president. Nothing for them. Nothing. Zero. You know what he brought them? He brought them division, strife, poverty. That's what he brought the black community. That's what Obama brought you. If you're part of the black community, that's what he brought you. He brought you George Floyd. And I know that happened under the Trump administration. But it starts all the way back. He brought you Breonna Taylor. He brought you Black Lives Matter, basically screaming that white people hate us and we hate white people. That's what Barack Obama brought you. He brought you division. He brought you victim mentality. You're welcome for your victim mentality. He screwed the black community so bad. They finished his administration much worse off than they started. Much worse off. Did nothing for the black community. Nothing. And so many foolish black people still think that, oh yeah, he was a great president. What did he do for you? What did he do for you? He literally told you that white people, he said the words didn't come out of his mouth. He stoked racial divisions in ways that had not been seen in decades. That's why Black Lives Matter was birthed under him. The lunacy we saw happening in Missouri, in Ferguson riots, the anti-police hatred born under the Obama administration, which leads to basically having defunding police and more crime in inner cities harming the black community. He screwed the black community over and over and over again. And now, 10 years after he's out of office, he's still screwing over black people by saying, I'm only going to hire black people and then stiff them. Unbelievable. Utter disaster for black people. And no one's going to cover it because he is basically, he is the king of the leftist community, of leftist world. And the media loves they can't stop stroking his ego.
They're already in bankruptcy. That's what they're saying.
So he's basically bankrupting more black people. He's bankrupting more black people because he's like, oh, I'm not taking Italians. I'm going to have only black people. You know why? Because it was Italians. They'd be cutting off his fingers by now. That's what would happen. You don't know it. Not going to Italian contractors is going to stiff them. That's crazy. No one's that stupid. So he's like, let me take advantage of the black community. A bunch of suckers for him.
And the newspapers do not know that these people have not been paid. Contractors are already in bankruptcy. That's what they're saying, that if it wasn't the fact that they worked on this Obama project, they would not be under this type of problem.
And they foolishly decide to work for this self-involved egomaniac Barack Obama.
You can file that with You Can Keep Your Doctor. The Obama Presidential Center officially opens to the public in Chicago this Friday. Those are your headlines. And I know, Rachel, you are going to be first in line to get in there and check out a book from the Obama Library.
You mean from the
Obama trash can?
From the North Korean watchtower?
Subcontractors are claiming they haven't been.
So I'm going to share with you some law here. I don't know what this means. What does that mean, pulling a Trump? I don't know what that means. I'll share with you some law, which you probably never heard of before. When I was a first-year law student, I spent my summer interning at a law firm that specialized in representing contractors. It's one of the things they did. They did very well. And I learned about something called a mechanic's lien. What is a mechanic's lien? Mechanic's lien is a tool at the disposal of civil litigation attorneys that is available if you're representing a contractor or a subcontractor who has done work on real property. I actually looked it up to see does such a thing exist in Illinois, and indeed it does, much as it does in New York. And what this basically is that you have to send notice to the potential defendant, in this case Obama or whatever corporation is the one that contracted and owns the property, because I'm sure it's definitely not in his own personal name, the Obama Library. It's going to be in some corporate name for sure. So you would notify the potential defendant, the contracting party, the owner of the property, that you are intending to put a lien on this property unless your debt is paid, and that you're going to be filing suit to collect payments. And there is a special vehicle called a mechanic's lien. Mechanic's lien is basically when you file your lawsuit, first you have to give notice in advance, as opposed to a regular complaint, you would just file a complaint, serve it, whatever. Some jurisdictions you serve it and then file it. I don't know how it works in Illinois, but normally the mechanic's lien, if you want to have a valid mechanic's lien, you would have to give notice before you file your complaint that you're planning on filing a complaint and obtaining mechanic's lien. And then you go out there and they have some time to respond. It's like sort of like a window opportunity for them to like sort of rectify the situation. And then you file your complaint and you assert a lien on the property, basically, which stops them from selling the property because it would take priority. It clouds title. What that means is, in case you're unfamiliar with the way real property works, when you want to buy a piece of property, you have to make sure that the person who owns it free and clear without there being any debts or liens on that property. Otherwise, those people who have debts or liens have more of an ownership interest than you do. So you're always going to make sure that that's why there's such a thing called title insurance. They basically research and make sure that property that you're purchasing is actually owned free and clear. Now, often there's some debts on it. There might be a mortgage on it, which gets satisfied at the time of closing. Or there might be other debts. There could be judgments that are against the owner, the fee owner, the titled owner of the property. And one of those debts, and those debts can serve as a lien if it's entered as judgment. But the advantage to a mechanic's lien is you can have it filed and theoretically perfected before you actually get a judgment. Now, this is not a piece of property which is likely to be changing hands anytime soon, because let's face it, it's the freaking Obama Library. It's not like they're about looking to put it on the market next week, right? And you might think to yourself, well, what is that going to do if you have a lien if they never ever sell it? They would hold it forever in the corporate name. So what does the lien do? This type of lien you can foreclose on. So if you end up getting that judgment, you use your mechanic's lien to auction off and sell the property. And that's what could happen here. Now, I don't know how much outstanding debt they have to their mechanics, but if they have debts of like, close to the $1 billion price tag of this thing, it's not like a judge is not going to sign off on a piece of property that's $1 billion. They're unlikely to sign off on there being a judgment of foreclosure for like $40,000. They're just not going to do that. They'll try and find some way to, to satisfy the situation, make sure that the contractors get paid. But if you're talking hundreds of thousands, millions and millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of contractors who are still unpaid, That would be freaking hilarious if this thing ends up being foreclosed on. That would be freaking hilarious. Do I anticipate that happening? No, I don't think it's a very likely outcome, but it could. It could happen. You never know. I'm not betting my own mortgage on that coming to fruition, but it would be freaking hilarious, and it definitely could happen. So, dear lefty losers, let me call you a was ambulance? What? I don't know what that is. Remember, for 26 months. Go get it. Go get it, Aaron. Go get it. Joan Rivers banned some celebrities from her funeral. Big Mike, Adele started her addiction to Ozempic, and Chelsea Handler for being a luscious hooah. Joan, crack me up. Joan, crack me up. Joe Z, did you see Governor Newsom's freak out over the investigations into his corruption by the DOJ? He's acting like a biatch, and I love it. I wanted to, my wife actually sent me that. I didn't send it to myself. I forgot. I wanted to send it to myself and play it for you, and I totally forgot. Let's see if I can send it to myself now. I'll do a quick search for it. Here it is.
In recent days,
I appreciate you calling this to my attention. I should include this. Do I agree with Mark Levin? Mark Levin on what? I don't know what that means. On some things, not on everything. You're going to have to be more specific. Keith, I'm sure there's some things you agree with Mark Levin on. Here's Gavin crying. This is for you, JH. Yes, can you receive?
federal agents have knocked on the doors of family, friends, and former employees. Not because they found a crime, because they're simply trying to find one.
That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right.
They're demanding records. They're abusing the grand jury process.
That's an investigation.
Digging through years and years of random documents.
Fraud. Almost certainly fraud. Almost certainly fraud. I mean, let's face it. It's probably fraud.
Donald Trump isn't just coming after me because of my mean tweets.
Oh, no?
He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president.
How would he know that? Why would he care? He's not running against you. Why the hell would he care? What a ridiculous claim. I don't even understand what that means. Why would he care? What's the thought process here? Gavin? Frankly, if you were running for president, that would be a pretty easy win for the Republicans.
Because he hates that I've consistently called him out over and over again for his lies.
Well, you look like an idiot when you do that, so I don't think he really worries about that.
And deceit. Donald Trump is simply the most corrupt president in American history.
Seriously. Oh my God. Where were we? This is the state that has so much corruption ripping through it. Most corrupt president in American history. Dude. He's so upset. He saw the Biden DOJ going after an actual presidential contender when the president was not a lame duck. when Biden was not a lame duck and was obviously planning on running for re-election, had announced his own candidacy and trying to indict his you such a schmuck. Did you say anything about that then? Doofus? Doofus?
He's turned the levers of government into his own personal power ministries.
Oh, where the hell were you in 2023? Where were you? Where were you? You're the French Laundry?
To reward cronies and to try to jail his opponents.
Oh, just stop it. Just stop it. Just stop it. No man is above the law. No man is above the law. Not you, Gavin Newsom. You're not above the law.
His personal attorney now runs the Department of Justice, which has repeatedly gone after his political enemies.
Yeah. So yeah. Where the hell were you in 2023?
Ask Jerome Powell. Sent them after James Comey.
Yeah, James Comey. He's very crooked.
James Adam Schiff.
What about Bolton? What about Bolton? You all said the same thing for Bolton. That was crap. That was crap. Schiff definitely, that one certainly should go through. He only got out of technicality, Schiff.
He sent them after Tim Walz and a
Tim Walz? What happened with Tim Walz? What are you talking about?
woman that a jury found Donald Trump had sexually abused.
He's so angry. He is so angry. Oh my God.
One by one, anyone who...
This is a guy who's overseeing the state that just engaged in the most blatant election thievery of the last century. And you're sitting here talking about corruption. Oh, you stupid, skinny little schmuck.
Has challenged Donald Trump has ended up on his hit list. And today, I proudly joined that list. After calling for my arrest last year, Donald Trump directed his Department of Justice to investigate me. And
sure enough, they found enough there for probable cause. Surprise, surprise.
Just in the last week, I've learned that his campaign has reached my own home.
Oh, that's not surprising either.
To get me, he's coming after my wife, Jen.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of shadiness going on with Jen. I'm sure there's a lot of shadiness going on with Jen.
A public servant, a woman who's dedicated her life to supporting women.
Oh, that's definitely not true. I know that on its face, yeah. I'm sure she doesn't give the slightest damn about women. She's a political operator just like you.
And girls. Someone who has done nothing wrong.
That's definitely up for, well, grand jury will come to determination on that.
Other than having the temerity to advocate for what she believes in. If they can't...
What she believes is in corruption and stealing elections.
Can't intimidate me.
You stole elections to save your own recall when you're flooding California with these ridiculous numbers of ballots. It's so corrupt. You shouldn't be in office now. You should have been out of office when you were recalled.
Go after the mother of our children. Donald Trump picked the wrong target.
I don't think so. He seems to be zeroing in pretty well. We
have nothing to hide. His political operatives can take every record and read every page, but they'll be looking in the wrong place.
Oh, because you hit it so well? They're never going to find it? Is that what you mean? They're looking in the wrong place? You hit it too well?
Because if they really want to find corruption, look no further than 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yeah. That's where all the corruption is. You guys spent years and years trying to find something on him, and all you come up with is this ridiculous, empty, stupid claim from 40 years ago, and invent a new law that's being overturned by New York right now. Oh my God! Just stop!
Donald Trump is selling the presidency. He's
selling the presidency. Oh yeah, selling access to the Lincoln bedroom. Is he doing that?
In the largest cash heist in American political history, trading.
He's so upset. Listen to his tone. Dude, take a Xanax.
Foreign tariff relief for approval of his golf courses. Day trading behind the Resolute desk, reaping hundreds of millions of dollars in personal profit. And he's doing it openly. He's doing it on camera. He did it last night on the White House lawn.
What are you talking about?
He's doing it through cryptocurrencies. He's doing it through the receipt of a $400 million private jet.
Translation, people like him and it makes me mad. Translation, whatever he touches over the last 10 years in particular turns to gold, and it really pisses the hell out of me.
From a foreign government that he plans to keep when he leaves office, through his son's ventures in countries where his own administration is simultaneously making policy. His personal fortune has skyrocketed by $4 billion since making his return to office.
I don't know where you get those numbers from. Those numbers seem very ridiculously inflated. I'm sure he's been doing well, though.
This is the behavior of a regime, not a republic.
At least he didn't call it a democracy, because he knows the last thing he can call in California is a democracy. At least he didn't try calling it a democracy this time. You want to talk to us about Pelosi? Your aunt? Your Aunt Pelosi? We're going to hear about Aunt Pelosi? Ridiculous. Oh, ambulance. Oh, that I did miss that. That's what you were saying with, let me call you a ambulance. Well, the ambulance makes sense for Gavin Newsom. Patrick Bateman Newsom is a whole of SPD, NPD, OCD. Newsom is still mad for being left on the flight line when Trump went to California to look for ashes of Palisades Fire, Crimea River for the next wildfires, and they were all his faults. They're all his faults. It's like, don't let America become California is going to become the tagline of whoever runs against them.
White House has become a marketplace for sneakers and coins and watches, cologne, guitars, Bibles, and phones. Influence for sale, access for sale.
Yeah, that's it. If you buy a Bible, you have access and influence. Totally. That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. If you talk about access for sale, we actually had a vice president do that who later became president. All you had to do was just give, millions to his kid, 10% for the big guy. Schmuck.
And today, my family and I can personally confirm that justice is for sale.
We can personally confirm that justice is for sale. You're not in prison yet.
To Donald Trump, who I know is watching because he watches everything.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good thing that he watches everything. Isn't that a good thing? He wants. It's certainly a lot better than the last president who slept through everything.
I have a message for you.
Okay.
You can subpoena my records.
Okay. All right. You're gonna give them up? I'm just give them up. You have nothing to hide. Just give them up.
You can investigate me. You can harass me. Put my name on every and any enemies list you have, but
there's no stupid enemies list. It's all in his head. Trust me, I don't think he forgets.
Leave my wife and family out.
No, I don't think so. I think your wife is how you actually run a lot of your shenanigans. I'm sure your wife, maybe that's why. He's like, don't look at my wife. That's where I have all the fraud going on.
Of your personal vendetta. I'd like to say something to my wife.
Oh, Jennifer, we're going to stand through this together strong. We're going to stand tall. We're going to rise and get past this. You are so brave and how you stand up, and I'm so proud of you. And we're never going to let him, that corrupt evil man, come after you.
These times are not normal. They're not ordinary.
I got to get up on a public lectern here to give a message to my wife. I can't say it to her. She's sitting like right over there. I can't say it to her. I have to say it to her in front of you. I have to give a message to my wife to you. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? I have a message from my wife. Oh, what, is she not returning your calls either? What? Why? Why do we have to hear your message to your wife? I like how I freeze framed him with he has his lizard tongue sticking out there. I gotta save this. I'm gonna screen save this. That was just a fortuitous freeze frame right there. Let me see it. I'm going to find it as Gavin.
I love you. I'm sorry.
I love you. I'm so sorry that this man is coming after you because of me. And not because of all the fraud that we did together.
He's doing this. You have not earned a single one of the indignities that he's trying to inflict on you.
I'm sure she's earned a great deal more than the indignities that anyone's trying to inflict on her. A great deal more.
And our children. And to Donald Trump, this country does not belong to you. It does not belong to your cronies.
I don't know. His eyes do look really bloodshot.
And we're going to fight your lawlessness.
And what are you fighting for? What do you have to hide?
We're going to continue to remind the people of this country of your corruption. That same corruption our founders warned us against.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is the guy who literally stole an election last week. Corruption. Mr. Corrupt himself.
Move to celebrate our 250th anniversary. I'm going to keep reminding Americans of what they warned would happen if a man with no character ever held the office of presidency.
Or governor.
So let me say it again. Mr. President, come after me. I'm not going anywhere. And the country.
I think you're not going. When you say you're not going anywhere, I'm fairly confident that's true. You're not going anywhere. You have these big dreams of getting into the White House, but I don't think you're going anywhere.
Is watching.
This was his way of saying I'm running for president, by the way. That's a major part of what he was trying to get out here. I'm about to be running for president. In case you haven't been paying attention to politics for the last 3 years, I'm about to announce that I'm going to be running for president. That I'm throwing my hat in the ring for the DNC nomination. So that's what this entire thing is. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I'm such a victim. This poor victim. There's some acting like a cornered animal. I love this. It's better than, is it? But is it really? Makes you feel good and dirty at the same time. The reptilians of Xena Reptilia live among us. Newsom is a reptilian. Yeah, he is. Strange that this is exactly what Barnes said of Viva, the most corrupt administration in his lifetime, and he believes it too. I feel bad. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. Yeah, I'll tell you something. This is a good topic for us to like. This that Karen's bringing up here is a good topic to bring up. Okay? Because we started the show off talking about the potential end of the Iran conflict. Over the last year, we're coming to a year now of the emergence of the woke right. It really started with Epstein, and then the bunker busters, and then it really took off with the Iran war. And then when Massey was obliterated, that it just seemed as if there's a lot of fracture. I think it's going to start to dial back a little bit now, because assuming this war has come to an end, it'll be, I don't know, like the 6th time in a row that the woke right basically screamed like a bunch of chickens about the sky falling, and no sky fell. And it's unfortunate to me that a lot of people I like and respect and admire have found themselves in this camp. And I hope that they recognize that there is that Trump is a flawed man. As much as I can rave about him as president, I recognize he's a flawed man. He's going to make mistakes. But that we've never come close. You've never in your lifetime come close to having a president being fulfilling what you would hope for from a president as Donald Trump. And to not appreciate that, or to dismiss that, to continually trash on him or hate on him or try and dump on him or his accomplishments, does not better America. It's not patriotic. It's not something that makes America a better place. And it's simply self-defeating. It's a mistake. I'm hopeful that, like I said, assuming this peace deal actually comes to fruition, and it's along the terms that J.D. Vance is trumpeting out there, there's no material changes from what he's been telling us for the last 36, 48 hours, that they will recognize this for the win that it is. I don't think all of them will. I think a lot of them will say, this is just like the Obama deal. This is the same thing we had beforehand. I can already picture the complete and total tards of the world, like Dave Smith, saying stuff like that. I'm hopeful that Barnes will do better than that. So I think he's a smart guy and he's a good person. But this is a very misguided perspective. It's a very misguided perspective to think that if we don't get everything we want from the president, that we're going to basically be trashing this administration and not be appreciative of all the benefits to America and Americans and improvements in this country that we have because of no other person more than Donald Trump, is just, I think it's a very foolish mistake. And it's a lack of gratitude for some very significant achievements. Now, would they be more significant if we had a GOP in the Senate, which had a backbone? If we didn't have a John Thune of the world, who's basically scuttling the Save America Act? If we didn't have a GOP that's scuttling Doge accomplishments? Yeah. Why would you take that out on Trump, though? That's not Trump's fault. If we didn't have such a spineless Senate, a bunch of rhinos in the Senate, we would be ticking off way more wins. Way more wins. You can't hold that against Trump any more than you can hold the Bay of Pigs against him. It's beyond his control. There's nothing he can do about that. Why would you fault him for that? To the extent that he's able to get things done, he's been doing it. We could tick off the different things he may dislike about him. I understand you think that he and many others think that Massey was a man of serious accomplishments. I don't. I never did. Quite the contrary. I think that he's pretty short list of accomplishments. For every accomplishment Massey has had in his life, Trump has had politically. Trump has had 20. But people just get things in their head a certain way. And one day, I'll tell you this much, on January 21st, 2029, Donald Trump will no longer be the president of the United States. And America will be a worse place at that time, no matter who we elect. That's just reality. And it's unfortunate that these people who work so hard to see him get elected cannot appreciate the win after win that he's managed to get and the efforts that he's put in to make this a better country. So. The Iran thing's been a failure. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the end. It's not over yet. Hopefully it is over. Hopefully we're coming to an end. We'll see what the terms of the agreement are. If we clean out their uranium and Khomeini's dead, I think that could be a massive win. And that can be a massive one. So, especially when we see gas prices, relax back to where they were, it'll be a massive one. It's a serious one. I said I was going to take some calls. I'm going to open my phone line really quick here. Okay? I'm going to open the phone line up really quick. 972-454-0703. 972-454-0703. I promise I'll take calls. You want to celebrate. I don't know. You might want to celebrate the Knicks. If so, you can call. Want to talk about the Iran deal? Your thoughts on that? Gas prices? You want to talk about Obama's library? UFC on the front lawn of the White House? Whatever it is. 972-454-0703. You just want to tell me how pretty my smile is? Whatever it is. Don't make it awkward. That's there. If I get a call in the next couple minutes, we'll keep going. If not, it's okay. Oh, and I should remind you, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons. And if you're watching, drop a comment. Tell me your thoughts on the Iran deal. And if you think I'm wrong about the whole Michelle Obama thing, the Michelle Obama being a man thing, as far as that should be something we fixate on, you can tell me that too.
Call from
Michelle Obama.
To accept, press 1.
Hey, Michelle.
Good logic. How you doing, sir?
I'm okay. How are you, Michelle?
Oh, I'm doing all right. My voice is a little harsh, but no, I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. Great show. Best news broadcast on the live stream. I gotta hand it to you.
Thank you. That's very complimentary. I appreciate that. I wouldn't think that when I'm playing all those clips of people saying you're a man. But
well, I mean, there is that one clip of me dancing on I think it was like
at the Ellen
Oprah
show
or The View, or yeah, it was like a show on the television
where there was that lump in your
there
throat.
was a costume failure. Yeah, it was a costume failure. Okay, like literally, it's not what you think it was. Like floating around my crotch while I was jostling in front of a camera. It's just
Okay.
like
Okay. I want to ask you. I want to ask you a question. Okay.
You can ask me anything, man. And let me just straighten this up. Barack Hussein is literally the greatest president. I mean, Obama, yeah, that's his name, right? Yeah, the greatest president ever. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
This and that.
Go
ahead.
If I want to steel man the whole Ellen DeGeneres dance-a-thon, like Ellen DeGeneres dancing with Michelle Johnson Obama. So
during the great costume failure scenario, yeah.
Is it possible? Is it, if you want to try and steel man a defense there, is it possible that was a mic that just sort of shifted into the wrong way? Like it was like tucked in and just sort of shifted the wrong way? A really big mic.
Sir, you're about to get a call from my attorney. I'm going to sue you for defamation of character. I'll have you know. Gavin's got my back. Like literally, I just got off the phone with him. We watched your program and like we came up to like the thing. If he asked me about the costume failure, it's immediate grounds for defamation lawsuit. So yeah, I will see you in court, Mr. Good Logic. But I will always watch your show because it's the greatest news show on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button, subscribe.
Thank you.
Come on.
Thank you. I really appreciate
Yes.
that. I appreciate your support. That's very thoughtful of you. And yeah. And I appreciate
Yeah, well,
you're never running
the
for
more
president.
money you make on YouTube, the more money I can make from you, from the defamation lawsuit. I mean, it's like, of course, as long as they don't ask for my medical records, like whether I've either had a pap smear or, like a colonoscopy, there could be a couple of things that could go wrong with the medical examination and whatnot. And there is that costume failure thing that happened on LND, whatever, that messed up face lady and stuff. Kind of looks like Chelsea Handler, but like maybe Chelsea Handler's like ugly aunt or something. I'm not quite sure where I'm going with this, but I hope they don't sue me for defamation of character.
I'm actually, while we're on the phone here, showing a clip of that dance.
Oh God!
We're about to see a crouch. We're about to see a crouch, and this is.
I'm sorry, audience. Yeah, look what I do when I drink alcohol.
This is a very it's a rough day.
Yeah, man. Listen, Mr. Logic, sir. I gotta come clean with you. This is actually not Michelle Obama.
No,
it's Viking again, man. This is like the third time I called in and did this little.
You fooled me.
Routine.
I had there was no way I could have known.
I know. I'm really convincing. The whole scratchy throat thing threw you off right at the bat. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
No one could have told it, because I sound just like him.
No.
I mean, her.
Her.
Yeah, her. I mean, she identifies as whatever. I mean, they all do that and stuff. But the thing about that is when they all die, there will only be one thing left of them: a gravestone that says the name that was given to them at birth, and a skeleton that proves that they are either male or female. There won't be, brain or gray matter to examine to find out what was wrong with them and stuff. But we're all what's the famous quote from Gladiator? Shadows and dust.
Shadows and dust. Yeah. All right, my brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate the call.
All right, brother. Shalom. You have a great one, man.
Take
God
care, my
bless.
friend. Have a good night. Well, there you go. I'm assuming. Yeah, that was not. It's like when I look at that thing. If I really look, like, all joking aside, if I look at it objectively, I can't figure out what that fold is in there. But it does move a lot, like in ways that I don't think it could move if it was actually
Call from
flush.
Michael.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail,
I don't even know what
press
that was.
2.
What was that? Hello.
Hello.
Michael.
That is correct.
How are you?
Found with Barry. What's that all? What's that, Mike? I don't understand why anybody's saying that I'm stiffing anybody. I get stiff for a bump. Everybody knows that in Hawaii. Anyway.
Oh my God! What did I do to deserve this? So, are you going to file a defamation suit against that UFC fighter?
No. It's going to be against the Joan Rivers estate.
What was that?
Joan Rivers estate. She started it all.
Oh, the Joan Rivers estate. Yeah, I don't think the estate was ever sued either. I don't think the estate was ever sued. You would think it could have been sued, right? We've never seen any lawsuits.
No.
Never seen any.
Barry admitted it in several interviews.
What?
Yeah, Barry Sortero. Let's call him by his real name.
I did not think, even though I knew I was going to touch on that, the entire show was going to be about whether or not Michelle Obama is a man. But do you think?
Did you see their college pictures?
What was that?
Did you see their college pictures?
The
Very
college
talented.
pictures of him and Mike.
Yeah, it was Mike with the short hair. Yeah, and then she grew it out, or he, or
One
I don't
second.
know.
1 second. JH saying what Newsom left out of that he said was, my Auntie Nancy Pelosi says I'm a good little boy and you're all mean. You went from Newsom to serious reality with Trump in the Middle East. I had jokes. I'm sorry. There's super chat. I was responding. I'm gonna try and find that picture. You can stick with it. You can stick with it. Don't worry, JH. It's fine. I'm gonna try and find that picture of Obama college Michael.
It wasn't the hairstyle back then either. She's really buff. I mean, there's pro boxers that don't look like that.
His name was was it Michael Strautmanis?
Michael Strautmanis.
No, what was that? He did have a friend named Michael.
Yes. I don't know. I don't remember the last name.
Michelle's maiden name is supposed to be Robinson. I don't know. I think this is you're talking about with the one with his arm around. I think this is the
There's
picture.
several of them. Well, it's going to say falsely spread. Of course, they're going to say it's falsely spread.
Why did Barack Obama's child friend and his life partner Michelle Obama look so alike? Are they siblings or something beyond imagination?
Michael Levin Robinson. Levon? Is it Levon? Like Lemon? Can't be lemon. It's got to be Lemon. I'm Lemon.
So weird. I don't know what I'm seeing here. Is that really a dude? That's not her? Are you looking at your camera? Are you looking at the screen right now?
Yeah, I'm looking at not an interview, but an article. It didn't have any pictures, but it name. Who is Michael Levon Robinson?
Michael Levon Robinson. Was there really a Michael Levon Robinson?
That's what this is the you got to do the air quotes conspiracy theory.
Michael Levon.
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 L-E-V-O.
Levon. This is I just stumbled on something that looks like it's looking to infect my computer.
It's them.
I don't know. Like I said, like I sort of feel like I'm playing into it, but like, you know.
I thought it was funny. I laughed. I thought it was a very good UFC. I watch them all.
Oh, are you a UFC fan?
Oh yeah, I love UFC. I've been watching it since the '90s.
Really?
When it was, when it was like no holds bar, big old dude getting smacked around by that little guy with the karate gi kicking him in the head. It was pretty good. Really good stuff.
Were you a fan of those Clint Eastwood movies, like Any Which Way But Loose or Any Which Way You Can? The bare knuckle boxings.
Of course.
Right turn, Clyde.
Of course. Yeah, scrap the caddy, Clyde.
Yeah. Yeah, I never really got into it. It's different than kickboxing, right? Because in kickboxing, they had to make a rule that you have to throw a certain number of kicks because kicks are not nearly as effective as punching. So like apparently no one wanted to throw kicks. Which makes kickboxing like really much less cool sport when like if they have to force you to kick, then it's not helping you. It's just almost like a handicap. So
you'd have to talk to. Well, I don't know. If
they allow you to kick in UFC, right?
Yeah, kicking, elbows, knees, throws, wrestling, judo. I guess the only thing you can't really do is hit him in the groin or in the throat or the eyes.
You can use karate?
Like, huh?
You can use.
No, I'm talking UFC.
Right, I'm saying in UFC you can use karate.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't like a karate person be like just dominate UFC?
Why wouldn't he dominate? Well, he's got to have every game. He's got to have the 3 zones. So you got your kicking zone, you got your punching zone, and then you got your grappling zone. So he has to be proficient in all 3 of those.
Oh, I didn't realize that there's a certain there's certain points that you must grapple.
Yeah, they did it last night.
Ah.
Did you see the last? Did you at least see the last fight? That was a really great fight. Where he did the backflip off the
no, I didn't see any of it.
gun.
I didn't see any of it.
Yeah, it was mostly stand up on that, but there was some good wrestling parts to it too. It was pretty good. All of it was really good.
Duck Fat says, remember when Obama said if he had a son, he would look like Trayvon? Notice he didn't say if Michelle had a son. Ooh. Hands One Packet says, could they also sell contents of the building to satisfy any judgments? No, I think the whole point to mechanics lien is that it's the property itself that you improved, so you're creating a stake in it. That's what gives you the right to the lien. But the contents, I don't think are part of it. Posted video in locals. It was not Mike Pack as she moved back. It was as she moved it to back waistbands. Oh, so I don't know. You posted it in locals.
Oh shoot!
I don't know. I don't know what's happening here. He's showing me a clip here of this. I don't know what I'm seeing here. Maybe some of you can figure out what I'm supposed to be seeing here. I don't know what I'm seeing here.
Are you gonna have a New Year's dirty joke thing again?
Dude, it's like June. And it wasn't dirty joke. It wasn't a dirty joke. No, people, what the hell are you talking about? I never had a dirty joke thing. I have done it. It's been a long time since I did. I did a Make Joe Laugh stream a couple of times. Which I actually really like those. Those are good. I haven't done it in a long time.
I did the dental floss joke and the baby joke and the hunting joke. And
maybe I could do that. I can do that for my birthday. My birthday is next week. That's not a bad idea.
I gotta go. I remember some more. I gotta remember some more jokes.
Well, I'll ask in locals if I should do a Make Joe Laugh for his birthday stream. That's not a bad idea. I like that. I like that idea a lot. All right, let me lay my plane here, brother.
All righty. Have a good one.
Great chatting with you as always. All right, take care. Have a good night, my friend. All right. I am going to land my plane here. I'm feeling tired. I'm a little hungry. So I thank you all for joining me. I hope we all learned something. And I hope that this was and yeah, you should have learned something, right? I mean, you had to learn something. It's been 3 hours. How could you not learn anything? Weren't you taking notes? All right. I will see you all, God willing, tomorrow evening. Until then, I'm going to ask you, make sure you look out for your loved ones. Don't get dismayed by the woke Reich. Stay away from lab meat. It's meant for they, them. And do not eat the bugs. Don't do it. Trust me. Just really, really don't do it. Good night, everyone. And as always, Godspeed.